One of those has to come to an end here tonight. Stallions taking on the Mohawks for the third time this year here at home. Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi here in the Pack Hub broadcast booth. Nick, the ponies are rolling.
5 wins in a row, longest winning streak of the season, Dan. Stallions did win more than 5 games twice last year in their second place campaign in 2024, but the Stallions are rolling at the right time, playing the Amsterdam Mohawks in back-to-back days.
And here is this Mohawks lineup that's going to look to keep on going. They outscored the Glens Falls Dragons 23-3 over their last 3 games. Luke Filippi will start things off. Then it's going to be John Young Jr., the all-star selection, Chris Holcraft at short. Then it's Will Cowan. Bray Touchstone is batting .500 against these Stallions. Also an all-star selection down there at the 5-hole. Then it's Danny Perez. Alex Jungins, Sebastian Harden leads the team in average against the Ponies with the .667. Then it's Peyton Jemison and Brad Curtis. The arm they're going against here tonight is Matt Drillings.
And Drillings has looked sharp in his last 2 appearances. The first one was against these Mohawks where he started. He went through the first 2 innings. He only gave up 1 earned. But his most recent start was June the 30th against the Oneonta Outlaws. And then, funny enough, that game was not actually finished. But Drillings, when he was done at the end of the night, 2 innings of perfect baseball, 1 strikeout to go along with it.
And the defense tonight backing him up looks a little bit like this for Saugerties. It's going to be Cam Carroll behind the dish. Then after that, from left to right in the infield, Comiskey, Z, Maroney, Passo. Left to right in the outfield, Ford, Crane, Hobbins, Siefkin. Nick, if you were to roll out a lineup right now in a game where you needed to go beat the Mohawks, this would be it if you're Saugerties.
I couldn't agree more. Griffin Crane in the leadoff spot now. 4 straight games. He's been doing a great job of setting the table. But then with Carroll, Z, Ford, Maroney, 2 through 5, all 5 of those guys have power to the gaps. They can drive in runs with extra bases, and they're also fast as well. Ford leads the team in stolen bases, and PGCBL in pretty much every other category.
Both these teams coming off wins against the Glens Falls Dragons, and they meet up here tonight in Saugerties. Drilling toes the slab. Filippi steps into the box, and we've got baseball here from Cantine Field. First pitch is the top of the zone fastball, 4-1. Saugerties, their longest winning streak of the season. The Mohawks have had a streak all the way up to 9, so they're used to being in this position before, as that one misses outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. And the Stallions really looking to gain some ground on the Mohawks here tonight. They sit 4 games back in the PGCBL East. This being the first game of a home-and-home, which will continue tomorrow night at Shuttleworth Park. And so far this season, the Mohawks are an undefeated 2-0 here at Cantine Field. 2-1 is lined right up the middle. It's a leadoff single for Luke Filippi, and the Mohawks start where they left off last game here at Cantine Field, hitting the baseball.
And Filippi picks up right where he left off last night as well. It was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 doubles, leading this team in stolen bases and on-base percentage. Perfect guy to get on here to lead things off.
Last time Mohawks were here, they played at 5 runs in their final inning of offense, that being in the 9th. Looking for a hot start here tonight. John Young Jr. in the 2-hole, which is something we have not seen so far through 4 games between these 2 teams. But he gets the bump up tonight. Swings at the first pitch he sees. It's a lazy fly ball into left field. Ford's coming in on it. Makes a nice diving play. And there's 1 down.
Nice play from Ford. Came in on it on a full sprint. Ultimately fell to a slide out and left. Great play from Ford. He got a great break on it.
Ford was just named as a PGCBL East All-Star, 1 of 5 on this team. Mostly for his bat, but his defense as well, showing off here in the first. Does a nice job of coming down with that one. So with 1 down, it'll be Chris Holcraft, the shortstop. A check over on Filippi. Passo does a nice job blocking the ball. Holcraft has been on a tear for the Mohawks, was just named a PGCBL East All-Star, batting just around 300, but the big thing with him is that he's played in every game but 1 for these Amsterdam Mohawks. Speaks volumes as to why he specifically got the nod. Filippi's going to go over to second, but the pitch is fouled back. No balls and 1 strike.
And last time these 2 teams played, Dan, Holcraft was a monster. On base in his final 4 of 5 plate appearances. In that one, he scored 3 runs and had 3 RBIs on 2 doubles.
An Amsterdam team that loves to mash here at Cantine Field. They're batting above 300 coming into this game here at the home of the Ponies. No balls and 2 strikes as Drillings locates the fastball in the top of the zone.
And you mentioned it right there a little bit. The Stallions pitchers so far have allowed the Amsterdam Mohawks to a batting average of 324. But for the Stallions offense, only 260 in the first 2 meetings between these 2 teams here at Cantine.
Drillings did pitch in the 10-3 loss against the Amsterdam Mohawks last time. Went 2 innings in that one, giving up just 1 run, and that being unearned. So a guy who plays a big role in these pivotal games, mostly known for the fastball, misses upstairs there. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One, 2. Chopped up the middle. It's going to be a tough play for Maroney. He steps on the back, throws to first, not in time. But a great effort right there by the Stallion second baseman to just even get 1.
Maroney 2 nights ago against Glens Falls was a little shaky with the glove. And, Dan, that was really the first time through Maroney's entire summer where we've seen him make more than 1 error in a ball game. But right there, it was smart of him to at least get the first out at second base.
He was going cross-body right there as well. Would have been tough for him to backhand, step on the bag, get it over to first in time. Passo's been tested a couple of times in this inning already with blocking the baseball at first, and he has been perfect. Cleanup man Will Cowan at the dish. Takes a first pitch strike on the off-speed.
And Cowan, another guy in this Amsterdam lineup who's been raking .292 through his first 15 games as a Mohawk.
They've got 10 players who are batting above .292 right now for the Mohawks. That shows why that they are at the top of the PGCBL East. And a big thing for the Stallions here tonight is to keep the ball in front of them, not commit errors. They had 3 last time, and you simply can't do that against this Amsterdam offense. That will punish you if you give them extra outs. It's a bad jump over there at first by Filippi. Here's the throw down. It's in time. What a play by Cam Carroll. He gets the Stallions out of the jam here in the first, and they put up a 0. Ponies coming to bat. Bottom half of the first here in Saugerties. Cam Carroll making a pivotal defensive play in the top of the first to keep the Mohawks off the board. He's batting second tonight in the lineup. Griffin Crane leading off. Then it's Jamie Z and Justin Ford, a couple of guys who were just named to the PGCBL East All-Star team. Then it's Reese Maroney, who's reached base in every game as a Stallion, that totaling 15. Dylan Passo leads this team in average against the Mohawks at .385. Then it's another All-Star in Travis Hobbins-Siefkin. George Baker was the player of the game 2 days ago against Glens Falls, a 2-for-4 evening with 3 RBIs. Then it's Casey Comiskey and John Freitag. They'll be going against another All-Star in Jack Kirchner on the bump.
And he was excellent the last time he pitched. It was against the Stallions right here at Cantine Field, where they won 10-3 through 2 1/3 innings, no runs allowed.
His last 2 outings have been against Saugerties, and in that time, only 1 earned run given up and 5 hits. Searching for that same dominance here tonight, but he's going to be going against a different leadoff guy, Griffin Crane, the center fielder, in what is now just his 3rd game for the Stallions after he came in as a pinch hitter against Utica, this being his 3rd official game. Takes the first pitch outside, and the thing that's been most impressive with Crane is his base stealing ability. This is not a guy that you want to let get on base early.
He's 8 for 8 this year out of the leadoff spot on stolen bases.
In just 3 games' time. Fouls it back off to the left side, and we were watching him in BP today out there in the outfield. Everything just looks so effortless for him.
He's very smooth out there, like you said. Any fly ball in his area, it looked like he was running too hard, but made the play either way.
Lines a ball to the right side. That one's down. Both teams here tonight get their leadoff runner aboard by way of the single, and now you really got to watch out for Griffin Crane at first.
4th hit of the season for him, and that being his 13th at-bat as a Stallion. Sets the table for Cam Carroll.
2 lefties starting things off here tonight for the Stallions. Cam Carroll in the box now. Cam not named to the All-Star team, but you can make a case that he should be there anyway. .326 average for him in 14 games played. Kirchner misses outside for ball 1. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Crane's going to go over. First dash from Perez. In time for the first time this season. Crane rung up trying to take 90 feet, and that throw by Perez was on the money, a 1-hopper.
Beautiful throw from the catcher. He knew Crane was going to run. He loves running earlier in counts to set up the hitters behind him with an RBI opportunity, but Perez nabs him here to start things.
You never expect a guy like Griffin Crane to get tagged with the amount of speed that he has, but that time just nailed. But Carroll puts a ball to the right side. It's through for a single. Back-to-back hits to start off the game for the Stallions, and you really go back now to Griffin Crane getting caught stealing. What about runners at first and second?
Just a big out for the Amsterdam Mohawks to get every half inning. You have to search for out number 1 against good hitting teams. And for both of these teams, really, if you can get it by way of the by a base running mistake, that would be huge.
And what a story it's been for Jamie Z, a guy who's a rising freshman, going to Notre Dame next season, getting named to the PGCBL All-Star team in the East, and hasn't even played a single at-bat of college baseball just yet.
He's been raking this entire summer, leads the league in home runs. He's top 10 in RBIs despite playing about 6 fewer games than everyone else ahead of him.
This pitch is grounded over to short. It's going to be a double play. Holcraft over to first in time to touchstone. Both teams get the leadoff runner aboard. Both are caught stealing. Stallions ground into a double play despite 2 hits here in the first. And we're tied at nothing going to the second. the top of the second here in Saugerties. Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi. And Nick, the theme of that first inning overall, missed opportunities from both the Mohawks and the Stallions.
2 caught stealings in the inning, one by both teams. Carroll nabbed Holcraft to end things in the first, and then Carroll was in the batter's box when Griffin Crane tried to steal second, and Danny Perez nailed him at second.
Both catchers have been stellar so far in this ballgame. Will Cowan will lead things off for the Mohawks. He gets a second at-bat after his was cut short, with Holcraft being caught stealing to end the top of the first. Drillings has done a nice job so far in this game after the leadoff single issued to Luke Filippi. A couple of balls for weak contact. Misses on the first pitch here in the second for ball 1. Drilling shakes off the sign. Comes set. Pitch is grounded over to Z at short, runs in on it, throws to first. A nice play by Jamie Z to start things here in the second, and there's one down.
After he hits us into a 6-4-3 double play over to short in the bottom half of the first, he gets action over at shortstop, and a beautiful play coming in on the baseball there.
Bray Touchstone at the plate for the Mohawks now. One of 7 that was named to the PGCBL East All-Star team a couple of days ago. And for right reason, Touchstone has been a monster for the Mohawks. Swings at the first pitch. It's back over to Z. Going to be a tougher play this time across his body. It's in time. Back-to-back plays to the Stallion shortstop. Back-to-back outs to start things here in the second.
It's been a couple days since Z had played shortstop. He played a little bit of second against the Outlaws, a little bit of third. But he's back at short, and he's showing why with 2 beautiful plays here in the second inning.
And just to finish things off on Bray Touchstone, 345 batting average, and he's only missed 2 games for the Mohawks. He's been absurd for this squad. Danny Perez, the catcher, at the plate now. He nabbed Griffin Crane for the first time this season in the bottom of the first and takes strike 1. A 1 misses off the plate. Drilling's looking for back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings to start things here tonight, and that was a problem for the Stallions last time against the Mohawks. 1-1 misses down low. They only had 1 2, 3 inning up there at Shuttleworth Park, resulting in an 11-8 loss.
And it came from their starting pitcher, Virgil Heath. He was money through the first 4, only gave up 1 run before the bullpen eventually imploded in the end.
2-2 count. But that starting pitching consistency has held up for the Stallions over the last few games. Derek Constant started against Glens Falls, had a perfect game through 3 innings, and then the day before that, Sean Dertinger in his first start here in Saugerties this season, 5 innings of 1-run ball. 2-2 is popped up behind the plate. Carroll's going to take a look. It's out of play. And we'll do it again at 2-2.
And that's one of the biggest reasons why the Stallions are on this 5-game winning streak is simply because of the starting pitchers. The Stallions really haven't had to use more than 3 pitchers at all during any point of this winning streak, only allowing nearly 3 runs a game.
Drillings deals. Lined over to second. Maroney's there for the play. Back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings to start things off for Matt Drillings here tonight against the Mohawks. And we go to the bottom of the second. Still no score. Back here in the bottom of the second, Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi. Time to take a look at the defense tonight for the Mohawks. They were pretty sound in the bottom of the first, turned to 6-4-3, double play to end things. Perez behind the dish, he had the caught stealing on Griffin Crane. Jemison Holcraft, Young Jr., touchstone in the infield, and in the outfield, left to right, Sebastian Harden, Luke Filippi, and Will Cowan. And in that first inning, Nick, the Stallions had a chance to plate a run or two. Griffin Crane led things off with a single, was nabbed at second, and then Cameron Carroll singled before Jamie Z grounded into the double play.
And Dan, this is something that you don't really see very much of from this Stallions offense. They had 2 hits in the inning, but only 1 out for real. Z hit into a 6-4-3 double play, so 2 outs on 1 swing. And Dan, stealing bases for the Stallions has been a strong suit. They lead the entire PGCBL by more than 25 on the season.
You want to talk about a 1-2-3 that could really be still a 1-2-3 in this game? It's Justin Ford, Reese Maroney, and Dylan Passo. That's what the Stallions have coming to the plate. Griffin Crane, Carroll, and Z led things off in the first, but this top 6, and even really top 8 for Saugerties, is potent offensively.
It's going to start with Ford, no pun intended, because he's the leadoff hitter, but he's hitting just above 380, and he leads the PGCBL in RBIs and doubles.
First pitch from Kirchner misses down low, and if you look right now at the outfield for the Mohawks, their center fielder and right fielder are shaded extremely over to the right side, and Harden over there in left is way far away. There's a big gap in left center field right now that Justin Ford is definitely seeing. It's a 1-1 count.
And like you said, big gaps out in the outfield. Ford loves to hit the ball into those gaps and then use his speed to take the extra base.
Ford chops it off home. 1 ball and 2 strikes, just named to the PGCBL East All-Star team for right reason, for being the only batter on this team that is above 400 coming into this one. Can't talk enough about how impactful Justin Ford has been for this team. And he makes sense why he's in the cleanup spot to drive in those RBIs, but trying to get aboard to start things. But he goes down on 4 pitches here in the second.
And this is a guy who doesn't strike out very much, even though he did so right there. Only 13 Ks in his first 23 games this summer.
Reese Maroney up next here for the Stallions. In the 5-hole tonight, it's the first time we've seen him down there all season long. Head coach Colin Martin switching things up with the speedy Griffin Crane in the leadoff spot. First pitch is popped up on the right side. Cowan coming in for it. Young Jr. called off. Makes the play. 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the second. Nick, I don't want to jump the gun here, but it seems like we have a little bit of a pitcher's duel on our hands here tonight.
2 of the better pitchers for both of these teams are going today, Dan. No doubt about it. Drillings hasn't allowed more than 2 earned in any of his appearances this summer. And Kirchner was just named to the All-Star team for the Eastern Conference of the PGCBL, so another guy who's really good out on the mound.
Dylan Passo at the plate for Saugerties. He's at first tonight. Takes on the outside part of the plate. And Kirchner now just a batter away from matching Drillings in facing 6 and retiring 6 through the first 2 innings of this game. Passo lines a ball down the right field line. No balls and 2 strikes.
And Passo, Dan, is a guy who's still trying to find it a little bit. He's still very young, rising freshman, going to Notre Dame next year, but only hitting .227 through his first 18. But he has 6 extra base hits, so the extra base power is there.
0-2. Passo just gets a piece. And outside of those numbers, he's been playing really well here against the Mohawks. A .385 average against Amsterdam in all the games between these two sides so far this year. And that leads this Stallion squad. Kirchner deals. He misses and actually slides off the mound with that one. All smiles from him, seems to be okay, but just lost his footing finishing off that pitch.
And going back to Paso, Dan, you mentioned how he's hitting 385. He's played in 3 of the 5 meetings between these two teams. In 13 at-bats, he has 5 hits, equals the 385 batting average.
Stallions looking for a spark here with 2 down in the bottom of the second. Kirchner looking for 4 in a row retired. Here's the pitch. Paso loops it into center field, just gets past the diving Holcraft. It's a 2-out single for Dylan Paso, and he stays hot against the Mohawks.
Bringing up a guy, Dan, who's been hot against Amsterdam as well. A big game last time Travis Hobbins-Siefken played against Amsterdam.
You mentioned that, Nick. He had a couple of jacks in that game, one that pulled the Stallions within a run. It was a 7-6 ball game going into the bottom of the 8th. Looking to make an impact here for Saugerties in the bottom of the second. Was just recently named to the PGCBL All-Star team as well for the Stallions. Takes the first pitch down the middle for strike 1. Hobbins-Siefken, 26 RBIs on the year. That's second on the team as well.
Second in the PGCBL as well, actually, behind Ford, who's in first.
Just fouls the off-speed off, and you can tell by his face Hobbins-Siefken wanted that one back. Kirchner left it just a little bit too high in the zone.
And this is a guy who's been making pitchers pay all summer long for leaving pitches middle. He has 5 doubles to go along with 4 homers. Dan, Hobbins-Siefken is slugging .500 this summer through his first 24 games.
Pretty gross, if you ask me. No ball, 2 strikes. Hobbins-Siefken just gets a piece, and that ball gets down. A great job of not trying to do too much, and the Stallions have a chance here to really make this a 2-out rally, first and second, with the power-hitting George Baker coming to the plate.
And you said it best. 2 guys in back-to-back plate appearances who are not trying to do too much, just finding contact and hitting it right back up the middle. Almost the Stallions going back to that pass-the-baton approach that we've seen work for them so much.
And the way that this lineup is constructed here tonight, the Stallions really have a couple of contact bats and then power. That being really in this inning with Reese Maroney, Dylan Paso, and now Hobbins-Siefken and Baker. And George Baker was the player of the game against the Glens Falls Dragons 2 days ago. That in a 14-4 victory in 8 innings for Saugerties. Takes on the off-speed for ball 1.
Baker in that game went 2 for 4 with a walk and 3 RBIs. Dan, one of the balls in play, that he had against the Dragons might have been the hardest hit all day, and he was out.
Actually hit off the pitcher's hand, that being Cameron Biller for Glens Falls, and he had to exit the game, and Baker makes some loud contact there, but loops it down the left field line. And that ball that hit off of Cameron Biller's hand was probably over 100 miles per hour exit velocity-wise.
It certainly sounded like it, because when it hit his hand, from where you and I were calling the game from, you heard that pop. Unfortunate for Biller because he had to be taken out after that. We hope Cameron is okay, and no one likes injuries.
The 1-1 to Baker. Misses in the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike. Baker has really been working with former Stallion Andrew Amato on keeping the barrel in the zone for longer on an at-bat by at-bat basis, and since that talk, he's had at least 2 hits in every single game. It's certainly been working so far for the Louisville backstop. The 2-1. Kirchner went to the gas. Baker couldn't keep up. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And Dan, this is a guy who at Louisville only had 45 at-bats the whole summer, went 5 for 45. 3 of those were for extra bases, however. But this is a guy who just needs some playing time. See some arms, see the baseball, get comfortable in the back of the batter's box, and find a nice rhythm.
The 2-2 pitch. Baker just stays alive. That's what you want to see out of this at-bat against what has been, if not the best starting pitcher in the PGCBL this season.
And if you take a look closely at Baker when he hits with 2 strikes, the last couple of games he's been going to this 2-strike approach where he doesn't even lift his front leg. You'll see it here with 2 balls and 2 strikes. Front leg will stay on the ground. He's relying on those hips and hands to just drive the baseball with 2 strikes.
He's got plenty of power. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on here in the bottom of the second. Kirchner misses down low, and Baker's worked himself into a full count. Runners will be released, so really a chance here for Saugerties on this pitch to plate 1, maybe even 2.
Especially with Baker's power in the batter's box, like you said, perfect opportunity to get the third base coach, Ron Kelder, giving everybody the windmill, sending them home.
Kirchner's going to give a check. Baker, 3 RBIs last game against the Glens Falls Dragons, looking for number 1 here tonight. Kirchner set at the belt. The payoff. Chopped over his head. It goes off his glove. Baker's going to get over to first, and the bases are loaded. Stallions catch a lucky break.
We're waiting for the official scoring on that, but it would have been a tougher play for Kirchner to field it as opposed to the second baseman, Young. But that will go down as a base hit. So 3 consecutive singles here, Dan, sets up Casey Comiskey, who had a 3-hit game last time these two teams played here at Canton.
Saugerties started off this game with back-to-back singles, have strung together 3 straight with 2 outs, and Comiskey looking for the blow here to finally get some runs on the board. Saugerties with 5 hits so far, but nothing to show for it. First pitch is in there for strike 1.
And Dan, Kirchner this season had only let up 12 hits in his first 15 and a third innings pitched this season. So the Stallions offense has been getting to him, but just not in the run column yet.
And only allowed 5 hits across 6 and a third against these Stallions, which was his last 2 outings. The 0-1 is hit over to the third base side. Jemison fields, he'll throw across the diamond. It's in time. Kirchner gets out of the 2-out jam, but the Stallions are hitting here at home to start things off. 5 in that category, but still no runs going to the third.
Drillings is done.
Back here in Saugerties, Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi. The reason for the lengthy delay here before the start of the top of the third, Matt Drillings had to leave this game with injury. Seemed like a blister on his hand. John Hacker on to pitch, the big southpaw for the Stallions in his first appearance this season.
He is a big southpaw. You got that right. 6'4", 215. But he comes into this summer for the Stallions with plenty of experience. Just graduated from Marist in over 3 seasons there, Dan. He played 39 different times out on the mound for the Red Foxes.
Another Marist guy playing for the Stallions here this summer. First batter he's facing in the top of the third is Alex Jungins, the extra hitter. 0-1 misses down low. And for Hacker, stands at 6'4", 215. Towering fastball from the left side of the mound. Makes it hard for hitters, especially Jungins. In a lefty-on-lefty matchup, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
His most successful season in terms of innings pitched for Marist was back in 2023, where he threw 53 innings overall in 3 years at Marist. He threw 85 1/3 innings.
Definitely a workhorse, still with an extra year of eligibility left. Tries to paint the outside part of the plate. Joe Lassa-Panera Sr. not giving it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. But that's the spot that you want Hacker to be hitting, and he didn't get regular time to warm up. Drillings was not supposed to come out of the game, so Hacker coming out of the pen cold. The 2-2 spiked in the dirt, full count.
It's interesting to see Hacker in a full count right here, simply because walking guys was not his weakness at this past spring at Marist. Through 19 1/3 innings, he only had 12, which is about less than 1 an inning.
18 strikeouts. So the payoff pitch is fouled off to the right side. So he's known as a guy who's going to hammer you home with the fastball and then against a batter like Jungins, try and pull some off speed across the plate.
And Dan, you mentioned strikeouts. The Mohawks, they don't strike out very much, 161, which is good to be the second fewest this summer in the PGCBL.
The payoff snaps the bat of Jungins. It seemed like he was just trying to get out of the way. Hacker retires the first batter as a Stallion for him, and there's 1 down here in the third.
That was a crazy, almost like a defensive swing from Jungins right there. He saw the pitch coming inside. He didn't know whether to get out of the way or take a swing. Luckily for the Stallions, he did swing and put a weak ball in play in front of the pitcher Hacker.
That was a loud crack at the bat. Safe to say, Jungins is going to need some new wood headed back to the dugout. And now Sebastian Harden, the left fielder at the plate, who leads this team in average against the Stallions with a .667 in 8 plate appearances. 1 ball and no strikes. Hacker misses down low. What a start from Matt Drillings here tonight, even though he exits the game from injury. 2 innings pitched, just a hit, no runs, no walks, and no Ks. Did a nice job giving these Stallions a chance here through the first 2. This ball's blooped out into right field, and it is down. Sebastian Harden with the second hit of the ball game for the Mohawks with 1 down here in the third.
First hit for them since the first batter of the game. Luke Filippi lined a single up the middle off Drillings. That would be the only hit he allowed as well over the next 2 innings.
Peyton Jemison, the third baseman, at the plate now for the Mohawks with the runner at first. First time that Hackers had to deal with some traffic, and the first pitch from him misses upstairs for ball 1.
The Stallions pitchers last 2 nights ago against Glens Falls didn't really have to work with traffic at all. Only 1 inning where the Dragons scored a run, that being in the 4-run 5th. But Heath, Constance, and Van Valkenburg were
a check over on Harden. That's something that Hacker can use to his advantage. Can pull up with the right leg and still fire over to first for a pickoff play. And the Mohawks tonight 0 for 1 on stolen bases. Hardin with a big lead over there at first. That's a 2-ball, no strike count to Jemison.
Hardin does have 9 stolen bases this year, which puts him at 4th on the team. The Amsterdam Mohawks have 3 guys in the double digits for stolen bases this year.
Just seems like at this point, Hardin's trying to dare Hacker to throw over there, and the base runner seems to be getting in his head a little bit. 3 balls and no strikes.
3 straight 3-ball count, actually, from Hacker here in the inning, from Jungens to Hardin and now Jemison.
Takes a deep breath on the mound. The pitch. Finds the bottom of the zone for strike 1. Jemison thought that was ball 4. Joe Lasapanera Sr. says, get back here. And it's a 3-ball, 1-strike count.
It looked like that pitch from Hacker was a little low, especially since Lasapanera Sr. really hasn't been calling the low strike, but Hacker gets to benefit from the low strike call here.
Big pitch early on in this ball game. The 3-1 chopped over to the left side. Comiskey's going to go to second. Maroney over to first. It's not in time, but the Stallions get the lead runner, and there's 2 down.
Nice play from the Stallions. Defense, second fielder's choice already for the infield. It's important that they get at least 1. You can't give a good hitting team like the Amsterdam Mohawks extra outs. So if you have an opportunity to get 1, you got to get it.
And if you're going to get 1, get the lead runner as well. That's what the Stallions do there. And now the 10-hole hitter, Brad Curtis, steps in with the runner at first and 2 down. Hacker deals. Tried to go with the off-speed on the outside part of the plate. Misses for ball 1.
And you mentioned getting the lead runner as well. Hardin was over at first the pitch before. Now it's Jemison. You go from a guy who has 9 stolen bases to a guy who has 0.
And you could tell, too, Hardin wanted to get over to second at some point. Another ball over to Comiskey. He's going to throw across the diamond, and back-to-back outs from the Stallions' third baseman at the hot corner. In his first inning of work as a Saugerties Stallion, John Hacker gets 3 outs, puts up a 0. Ponies coming to bat. Back here in what is now the bottom of the third from Saugerties. Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi in the Pack Up broadcast booth. Nick, the Stallion staff has done everything asked of them so far through 3 innings. 3 straight zeros, but the offense needs to start plating some runs.
Plating the runs is the biggest thing. They're getting hits. They have 5 through the first 2 innings, especially last inning. They had 3 consecutive 2-out singles. So you got to find ways to drive in runs. You can't leave runners on base against this potent offense of Amsterdam.
And you mentioned runners left on base. The Stallions left the bases loaded in the bottom half of the second, all coming with 2 outs, strung together 3 straight singles from Passo, Hobbin-Siefkin, and Baker before Comiskey grounded out over to third base. John Freitag will start things off for Saugerties. Here in the bottom of the third, he is the 10-hole hitter and the DH tonight. Freitag, in his short time with Saugerties, has been a guy who's made an immediate impact. 5 games played so far, .333 batting average. 1 extra base hit and 1 RBI in there as well. righty on lefty to start things here in the third, and the first pitch from Kirchner misses down low. He's already let up the same amount of hits that he did over the last 6 1/3 against Saugerties, which was 2 separate appearances, but were his last 2 pitching outings this season. .10 finds the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike to the Villanova product, John Freitag.
And it's been a while since he's played. He hasn't played since July 5th, obviously day after the 4th of July, where he did play in back-to-back days. But it's been a couple days, and Freitag was pinch hit for, so he didn't even finish the game either.
Got 2 at-bats up there in Oneonta. 2 balls and 1 strike before he was taken out of the game for Dylan Fitzsimmons. And he had an RBI single in his last at-bat in that game. All the hits tonight for Saugerties have been singles. 5 so far. The 2-1. Freitag doing a nice job with his discipline. 3 balls and 1 strike. He's only got 2 walks on the season so far. Stallions looking for a leadoff base runner here in the third. Kirchner deals. Freitag swings at the 3-1, chops it foul, and the count goes full.
And a leadoff runner for the Stallions here would be big because the top of the order looms on deck. Griffin Crane, the leadoff hitter, hits first, and he's on deck.
And if you get Freitag on, you could definitely think about having Crane lay down a bunt, especially with his speed. He was practicing those in BP earlier. Wonder if he'll get a chance to use it. Here's the payoff. It misses at the top of the zone. Leadoff walk to John Freitag issued from Kirchner. And now a real chance for the Stallions to get some runs across with the top of the order rolling around.
Great at bat from Freitag. Worked the count as well, so Kirchner's pitch count went up. 8 pitches in that at bat and still finds a way on base.
And Nick, I'm no coach here, but it seems like a no-brainer to have Crane try and lay down bunt here.
That's why Jemison at third is all the way on the grass.
First pitch does try and square, pulls it back, and it's a called strike. 0-1. Crane singled in his first at-bat, then was caught stealing at second. Does not lay down the bunt, takes at the top of the zone, 1-1 count.
And with Freitag over at first stand, Crane has a huge hole to hit into in between the first and second baseman, with Young having to shade towards second to be in double play depth.
A 1-1. Tried to go back to the same spot. It misses. And now 2 balls and 1 strike. Kirchner deals. Crane gets a piece, and the count's knotted at 2.
And Crane is a guy as well, Dan. It's almost like everyone in this Stallions lineup doesn't strike out very much, but Crane loves hitting with 2 strikes. He got a 2-strike hit a couple games ago.
He's looking to do so here tonight. The pitch is grounded over to the left side. Holcraft flips to Young Jr. onto first. It's in time. That kills all the momentum for the Stallions here in the bottom of the third. Second, 6-4-3 double play of the ball game turned by Amsterdam, and there's 2 down.
The Stallions just keep shooting themselves in the foot. They're getting runners on. They're just not finding ways to drive them around and in.
Unfortunate break there for Saugerties, and with 2 down, Cameron Carroll comes to the plate. Carroll swings at the first pitch he sees. A weak dribbler over to third. Jemison throws on the run and makes the play. Stallions get their leadoff runner on, but nothing comes of it. Go to the 4th inning. Still no score here from Cantine Field. just the really big one I have.
Top of the fourth inning from Saugerties, New York. Nick Zuppi alongside Dan Shalom. 0-0. We got a pitcher's duel brewing between the top two teams in the PGCBL East. The Amsterdam Mohawks come into Cantine, winners of 5 in a row, 21-6-1. But the Stallions also themselves are winners of 5 in a row, sit 4 games back behind the Amsterdam Mohawks. Stallions pitchers have been Matt Drillings for the first 2. We only allowed 1 hit. Put up a 0, and then John Hacker making his debut this summer. Put up a 0 in the third, setting the table for the top of the order to start things for Amsterdam here in the fourth inning. Luke Filippi will bat. First pitch to him is a foul ball over the netting behind home plate for strike 1. And Dan, the Stallions pitchers through the first 3 have just faced 1 batter more than the minimum.
For me, this is the big inning for Hacker to get tested. Top of the order for the Mohawks. Stallions have had their quote-unquote big inning where they have the bases loaded. The Mohawks are going to have it at some point, and the Stallions have to bear down.
Hacker misses outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Stallions have 5 hits through the first 3 innings on offense, but have amounted to nothing. They had back-to-back singles in the first, but Griffin Crane got caught stealing. 3 consecutive singles in the second, ended with a Casey Comiskey ground ball to third. Now Luke Filippi in a 1-ball, 2-strike count against John Hacker.
And this is pivotal here to get the first out. Stallions have done it the last 2 innings, and you could tell it hasn't allowed the Mohawks to really get anything going. They're somewhat scared to steal a base with ready and out on the board. Need to get this first one here if you're Hacker.
The 1-2. Fouled once more. 3 straight foul balls from Filippi in this at-bat against Hacker. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. And, Dan, this is a guy who's been setting the table for the Amsterdam Mohawks all summer long. Despite only hitting 192, his on-base percentage is .453. A good reason why. He leads the PGCBL in walks with 33. Fouls another foul ball here with 1 ball and 2 strikes. But Filippi, like I said, despite the low batting average, just finding ways to get on base.
And that's why if you're Hacker here, just pound the zone. Top with a fastball. You don't want to let Filippi creep back into this count and eventually work the base on balls.
Filippi puts this one on play over to Maroney. Fields fires to first in time for out number 1. And Dan, we talked about it a little bit earlier on in the inning, getting out number 1. Hacker does so against Filippi right there.
And it was just like I was telling you. Go top of the zone fastball and make Filippi beat you. That forces some hard contact, but something that Maroney can handle over there at second base, and there's 1 down.
Now makes it way easier. Facing John Young, who hits from the left-handed side, so Hacker is in a little bit of an advantage here, being 6'4" and throwing from the left side in a lefty-lefty matchup against Young, who hasn't really found it yet this summer. He's played in 21 games, good for a .250 batting average, and he did hit a grand slam here at Cantine the first time these 2 teams played. Hacker misses low, 1 ball and no strikes to Young.
And Nick, his parents are here in the stands tonight over there on the third base side. Always cool to see parents in attendance supporting, and John Young Jr.'s here tonight.
Just finished his freshman year at Alabama in a 1-ball, no strike count. Now 1 ball and 1 strike after Hacker spins the breaker in there for strike 1. Young played in the SEC at Alabama, like we said. Didn't really play much for the Crimson Tide, but now getting an opportunity to showcase why he's an SEC player this summer for Amsterdam. Big swing and a miss from him there. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
This is a big at-bat right here. If you are a Hacker, you don't have a K here tonight, would love to get one against the 2-hole hitter here for the Mohawks.
Stallions pitchers had 7 2 nights ago against Glens Falls, looking for number 1 here in the 4th. The 1-2 pitch, chopped in play over to the first baseman Paso. He feels it and will step on the bag. 2 easy outs for Hacker to start things in the 4th.
And Nick, for me, that's the equivalent of a strikeout. You force weak contact. He was late on that pitch. Stallions do a very nice job, and now Hacker has 2 outs on the board to go against Chris Holcraft, who is one of the best hitters in this Mohawks lineup.
And Hacker is a guy who doesn't really rely on the strikeout across 85 innings pitched at Marist over the last 3 years, 66 Ks. So like we were seeing here in the 4th inning, this is a guy who's going to really allow his defense to work behind him, and the Stallions' defense so far has been perfect. No errors through the first 3 2/3 defensively. But going back to Holcraft, Dan, he's an all-star for a reason. Swings and misses there, 4-strike-1. This being his 27th game as an Amsterdam Mohawk, hitting .299.
Consistency. That's all he's been for Amsterdam, and there's a reason they put him in the 3-hole tonight.
The 1-1 from Hacker misses way low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Nice scoop from Carroll behind home plate. Holcraft has absolutely been tearing it up against these Stallions. The last time these 2 teams played up at Shuttlework, 2 doubles, 3 RBIs to go with 3 runs scored, and a walk takes outside. Now 3 balls and 1 strike with Will Cowan on deck.
Still has not issued a walk here tonight. Not necessarily the guy you want to give one to with 2 outs. Cowan's a dangerous bat, but still a lot of room to work with.
This is an Amsterdam lineup that loves the walk. The 3-1 pitch. There it is, 5-pitch walk to Holcraft, first of the day for Stallions pitching. And these Amsterdam Mohawks have the most base on balls this summer in the PGCBL. They average just north of 7 per game at 203 through their first 28 games this summer.
Big part of why the Stallions fell behind last game up there at Amsterdam is because their staff ended up issuing 11 walks in that game, and that's simply too many if you want to beat the Amsterdam Mohawks.
And that's why this Stallions pitching staff has been really stellar during this 5-game win streak. In 4 of those games, they've had more strikeouts than walks, so limiting the base on balls, especially against the Amsterdam Mohawks, who, like we said earlier, loves to walk, is going to be key for the Stallions pitchers. Hacker checks on Holcraft over at first. John Hacker in relief of Matt Drillings. 1 out away from getting through 2 innings out of the bullpen. No arm warming either, so head coach Colin Martin going to let the southpaw go a little bit since he arrived here just about a couple hours ago. Holcraft will run at first. Carroll's throw down. Nice tag by Maroney in time to nail him at second base. Carroll threw it on the shortstop side of the bag, but Maroney got down to a knee, and the quick wrist swipe from the second baseman was a beauty.
And what a play that was all around from Carroll and Maroney. Holcraft leads this team in stolen bases with 15. Tried to get greedy right there, and Maroney over there at second was the MVP on this play. Goes crossbody, gets the tag down in time. Stallions put up a 4th straight 0.
Second time that Cam Carroll has named Chris Holcraft stealing this game, and that sends us to the bottom of the 4th with Jamie Z leading things off.
Jack. There's some creative in case you sell a school of chicken dance. That is a proud parent.
Welcome back to Cantine, and we're going to take a look at how things ended in the 4th. Cam Carroll throw down, and Reese Maroney with the tag of the year so far. Throw drew him across the left side of the base, but nabbed Holcraft stealing to end things. But Cam Carroll now, that's a caught stealing in back-to-back games where he's been behind the dish.
And second here tonight against Chris Holcraft, who is the leader in stolen bases on this Mohawks team. Cam Carroll has been excellent. It's time for the Stallions offense to get going here.
They have been getting some hits. They have 5 through their first 3 innings on offense. Did not have one last inning. It was a 1-2-3.
And they've had a base runner in every single inning so far. That's the big thing. It's not like they haven't had opportunities. It's been getting a runner over to third. That's been a problem, and getting him home.
Middle of the order, Jamie Z takes strike 1 against Kirchner. And this is now the 3rd time that Kirchner's pitching against the Stallions. He hadn't allowed more than 5 hits across his 6 1/3 innings this summer, but allowed 5 through the first 2. The 0-1. The 0-2 count is now after that breaking ball lands in there for a strike. Jamie Z is just the guy to lead things off if you're the Stallions right here. He's hitting third. Justin Ford behind him. Back-to-back All-Stars in this Eastern Conference of the PGCBL to start things in the 4th. The 0-2 pitch. Fastball on the outside corner completely freezes Z. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, 1 out. Bottom of the 4th.
Z not agreeing with that one, shaking his head coming back to the dugout. Lassa Padera Sr. ringing him up on the outside part of the plate for out number 1.
Z goes down on 3 pitches. He's now 0 for 2 today after hitting into a double play in the first, bringing up Justin Ford. First pitch to Ford, misses low, 1 ball and no strikes. And now Ford has been started with a ball in back-to-back plate appearances. This is a guy who loves hitting on the first pitch. He's talked about it numerous times with Henry Hipschman and Hannah Tempasis, 2 sideline reporters for us at the Stallions. Kirchner misses upstairs, 2 balls and no strikes.
The interesting thing about the way Kirchner's treating this at-bat is against Jamie Z, it was just fastball, fastball, fastball. And you have to keep up with it. Here he's tried to go back-to-back off-speed against Justin Ford.
The 2-0 from Kirchner, lined over to the left side, and it will get through for a base hit. Justin Ford continues his hot streak and continues to rake this summer. His average now sits above 405. Justin Ford might be in the running for the MVP in the PGCBL.
Certainly, and Nick, we were just talking about it. That's why Kirchner didn't want to throw him the fastball. He knew that Ford was hunting it throughout that at-bat. He took the first 2 pitches and then found his and just made some nice contact to the left side.
That brings up Reese Maroney, who hits 5th in this Stallions lineup. It's the lowest he's hit for the Stallions all year, excluding the first game of the year where he played against the Oneonta Outlaws and hit 5th in that one. He takes strike 1 on the breaking ball from Kirchner. Ford over there at first, and this is a guy who loves to steal bases as well. Luis Rodriguez, through the first 18 games, led the team with 23, but Ford takes over the team lead with 15 since Rodriguez is no longer active. Going away from first is Ford. Maroney puts this one in play. It's going to get down. Ford hits second, goes for third. Maroney going to second base. Justin Ford is heading for home. Throw goes to second. There will be no play at the plate. 1-0 Stallions on the RBI double from Reese Maroney.
That's a perfect example right now of the Stallions and situational hitting. There was a big gap over there in right field. Maroney hunted it, put a ball right in front of Cowan at first. Ford didn't know if the ball was down, but still it was put in a perfect spot where by the time Cowan fielded it, Ron Kelder could still give the windmill, and the Stallions take a 1-0 lead, finally get something across.
And the Stallions take advantage of a defensive mistake as well. The right fielder Cowan threw it to second, which allowed Ford to bolt for home. 8th RBI for Maroney this season, his 5th double as well, this being his 16th game as a Stallion. Dylan Passo now steps in, and the ball goes behind the catcher, allows Maroney to reach to third base, 90 feet away from making it the 2nd run in the inning and the 2nd run of the game for the Stallions here in the bottom of the 4th.
First wild pitch of the game against Jack Kirchner. He just bounces that one into the plate. But now it makes the job for Dylan Passo so much easier, especially with 1 out. Just elevate a ball to the outfield and make this 2-0.
Passo has 9 RBIs, one away from being the 6th Stallion in double-digit RBIs this year as Amsterdam brings the infield in early on here in the bottom of the 4th. The 1-0 to Paso misses inside, 2 balls and no strikes. But Dan, interesting approach from Amsterdam, bringing the infield in here only in the 4th inning.
Not sure how to feel about it, really. They clearly want to prevent anything from coming across. 2-0 count here to Paso.
Kirchner kicks and pitches. Paso lines this one up the middle for a base hit. There's RBI number 10 on the year. Maroney will come in to score, and the Stallions lead 2-0 here in the bottom of the 4th.
That's exactly why you don't bring the infield in. And not that it would have mattered, because that was a screamer off the bat of Dylan Paso. But he's starting to find it for himself here in the summer of 2025. More situational hitting from these Stallions. Paso at that at-bat wasn't trying to hit a home run. That's back-to-back plate appearances for him in this game where he's had a single.
Pitching coach for Amsterdam comes out to talk to Jackson Kirchner. Through 3 1/3 out there for Amsterdam. 2 runs on 8 hits. And Dan, this is a guy who came into this start nearly almost perfect. 5 appearances. He's pitched 15 1/3 innings, a 1.17 ERA.
Well, and the craziest thing is, too, he's pitched 6 1/3 against the Stallions this season and just let up 1 earned run. He's looked unhittable. He's already given up 8 hits and 2 earned here tonight. The flip being script, and the Mohawks are getting an arm going in their bullpen.
Now 3 of the 4 innings the Stallions have had on offense, they've had back-to-back hits at least. They had 2 consecutive hits in the first, 3 consecutive singles in the second, and 3 consecutive hits here in the 4th has led to 2 runs. And Travis Hobbins-Siefken stepping into the batter's box. And Dan, this is another guy for the Stallions, just named to the All-Star team for the Eastern Conference. Just been absolutely raking this summer.
Kirchner's going to try and pitch around him here. He let up a bloop single in the second, but you know the power he has, and you don't want the fastball going a long way.
There's the fastball. Hobbins-Siefken hits it, but it's right at the right fielder, Cowan, who brings Paso back to first. Out number 1 on 1 pitch. Out number 2 on 1 pitch
and
here
I
in the 4th.
didn't think he was going to throw the fastball there. Was trying to get one past Hobbins-Siefken. I don't think he was expecting it. That's why he was a little bit late. Still got good wood on it, but Cowan was right there.
Now, George Baker steps into the batter's box with 2 outs and Paso over at first. Baker was the last of the consecutive singles back in the 2nd inning. His was off Kirchner's glove, a chopper that Kirchner didn't field. Ultimately went down as a base hit. That brings Baker's batting average to north of 300 this summer as a Stallion. He takes inside 1 ball and no strikes.
And another guy that you want up in this scenario, George Baker, has a big power bat, got lucky, hit a ball off of Kirchner in the first for a single, but just missed it a little bit.
The 1-0. High pop-up. This will stay in play. Third baseman Jemison on the dirt and makes the play to end things in the bottom of the 4th inning. Stallions plate 2 on 3 hits. An RBI double from Maroney and an RBI single from Paso gives the Stallions a 2-0 lead going to the top of the 5th. Yeah, we can do that. Welcome back to Cantine. Nick Zuppi alongside Dan Shalom. Top of the 5th inning, Stallions just took a 2-0 lead. These Stallions sit 4 games back of the Amsterdam Mohawks. So, Dan, let's take a look at the entire PGCBL standings really quick. Amsterdam at 1, Stallions at 2. This is really a two-horse race for the number 1 spot.
And this is a massive game today and tomorrow. The Stallions and Mohawks play once here at Cantine Field, once at Shuttleworth. Stallions could close that gap all the way to 2, or for the Mohawks, it could stretch out all the way to 6, so really could go in 2 different directions.
And then 3, 4, 5, Boonville, Mohawk Valley, and Utica. Mohawk Valley sits 7 games back of first, Blue Sox 8, with Glens Falls and Oneonta rounding out 6 and 7 in the PGCBL East. John Hacker still on the mound for the Stallions. This is now his 3rd inning. Toe in the slab for Saugerties. Starts Will Cohen in a 1-out count.
It's been a great job so far from Hacker. He's only let up 1 base hit.
1-0. Misses inside, 2 balls. And no strikes. Despite back-to-back zeros, Dan, working behind in the count has definitely been a little bit of a struggle for Hacker so far.
Certainly, but he's only given up 1 walk so far in the outing, that being to Chris Holcraft, who is nabbed at second. So does a nice job recovering from that, thanks to his defense.
Cowan flies this one in play. The right fielder, Haben Siefkin, is camped underneath it for out number 1 in the top of the 5th inning. Going back to that caught stealing, that ended the 4th inning. Cam Carroll caught Holcraft trying to steal second. Nice tag from Maroney. That's now the 2nd time in this game where Chris Holcraft has been caught stealing. The other one was in the 1st. Cam Carroll got him there too. Bringing up Bray Touchstone for his 2nd plate appearance here in the 5th.
Touchstone has been a Stallion killer so far this season. In the 2nd, drilling for some weak contact over to Jamie Z. Look for that again here.
Hacker misses low, 1 ball and no strikes. Now 5 consecutive hitters where Hacker has actually started behind in the count, despite putting up zeros through his first 2 1/3 innings out on the mound. Bray Touchstone in a 1-0 count, now a 2-0 count as he takes outside. This is a guy last night against the Glens Falls Dragons who proved once more why he's an all-star, a 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. This season as a whole, Touchstone has done a nice job, 345 batting average in 27 games. Hacker finally fires in a strike, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Really want to attack here if you're Hacker. Mohawks have a new arm warming in the bullpen, that being Parker Aikens with a 4.80 ERA, so want to get the bats back in while they're hot.
Stallions will have 9-10-1 due up next inning, but Touchstone hits it to Z once more. Fields across the diamond for out number 2 here in the top of the 5th inning. Now 2 at-bats where Touchstone has hit a ground ball to short.
And that one looks so effortless right there from Jamie Z. Just flip that one over to first, Nick. It looked like you and I having a catch out there in the outfield. Calm, cool, collected, although probably a little bit cleaner.
Definitely a little bit cleaner. You and I can handle the baseball a little bit. We can throw it back and forth, but that's pretty much about it if you ask me. Now, Bray Touchstone 0 for 2 brings up Danny Perez. First pitch to him misses low, 1 ball and no strikes to Perez. He hits 6th in this Amsterdam lineup. Played last night against Glens Falls. Went 1 for 3 with an RBI and a strikeout. The 1-0 misses outside, 2 balls and no strikes on Perez.
That's okay. You just alluded to it. John Hacker has worked from behind in this game. That's been his MO. Get back in the 2-1 count, force some weak contact on the infield, and get your bats back in the dugout.
The infield has done a nice job for the Stallions pitching staff all night long. The 2-0. Finally a strike. Joe Lazapanera Sr. waited about a half a second to give it to Hacker, but there it was, strike 1. Dan, the Stallions infield, we alluded to it a little earlier the pitch prior, doing a really nice job after a stretch where they didn't really do a nice job.
Only have 1 error in the last 3 games. They've been great.
There's strike 2. This one on the outside corner. Back-to-back fastballs from Hacker. Gets himself in the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top half of the 5th. Stallions lead 2-0 after plating both their runs half an inning ago in the bottom of the 4th. The kick and the pitch. Just misses low. Count goes full. 3-2.
Big pitch here if you are Hacker. Gave up the 2-out walk last inning, was bailed out by Cameron Carroll, nailing Chris Holcraft, but would love to get strike number 3 here.
That's the first walk for an Amsterdam hitter in the entire game through the first 4 and a third innings. But Perez flies this one out to center field. Crane is underneath it, a couple steps in front of the track, and will make the play to end the top of the 5th inning. Second 1-2-3 inning for Stallions pitchers. Here in the top of the 5th, John Hacker goes 3 scoreless innings in relief of Drillings. We're going to the bottom of the 5th. Stallions lead 2-0. Welcome back to Canton. Nick Zuppe alongside Dan Shalom. Bottom of the 5th inning, and it's a Dallas Hot Wieners call to the bullpen. Parker Akins comes in relief of Jack Kirchner, who, Dan, through the first 4 got knocked around a little bit.
Certainly did, especially in that 4th. The Stallions finally broke through, but they loaded the bases multiple times. A solid outing from Kirchner despite the adversity he faced.
Couple of all-stars came to the plate last inning. Justin Ford scored a run. Travis Hobbins-Siefken also. But our sideline reporter, Henry Hipschman, got to talk with a few of the all-stars. So pregame, Henry, what did they have to say about it?
Well, I did get to talk to most of the all-stars. Of course, Luis Rodriguez isn't here, but I talked to them and the head coach. And there was just a consensus that there wasn't really a surprise that a lot of Stallions were selected and that they had the second most selections in the league. And I asked head coach Colin Martin how he was feeling going into what's essentially an all-star kind of game with 7 on the Mohawks and 5 on the Saugerties Stallions. He just said he's fired up.
Can you talk about a little bit what Martin spoke about pregame? Obviously, Jack Kirchner, an all-star for Amsterdam. We've been alluding to it all night. Did he talk anything about playing Kirchner specifically?
He didn't say anything specifically about Kirchner, but, you know, it's the Amsterdam Mohawks. There's always a certain level of rivalry going into these games. And the team, knowing they have this all-star talent, but knowing the Mohawks have that talent too, they're excited for this.
And, Henry, a big part of that as well, and sorry, Nick, I didn't mean to interrupt you here, is tomorrow's a doubleheader, so this is, in essence, an all-star game showdown over the next 3 days. That could decide the season for Saugerties.
Certainly is, and it's a stressful 3 games, but it's an exciting 3 games to see all this talent on one field. As a base hit right there for Casey Comiskey, who was not in the all-star discussion, but he came alive as of late. And again, it's certainly just an exciting time to see these 2 matchups.
Comiskey leads things off with a first pitch single, and thank you so much, Henry, for that insight about the all-star selection. Stallions have 5, Amsterdam with 7. 3 are playing for Saugerties here today. Jamie Z, Justin Ford, Travis Hobbins-Siefken, Luis Rodriguez, who is now inactive. He played 18 games for Stallions. Jace Van Volker, the lone pitcher for the Stallions staff, nominated all-star selection in the Eastern Conference of the 2025 PGL season. Excuse me. Casey Comiskey goes away from first. Perez's throw down is not in time. Casey Comiskey, a little bit of an awkward slide from the Seton Hall product, but gets the job done. Stolen base number 12. And Dan, this is a guy who's only been caught once as well.
That's a big one there for the Stallions. They get a runner in scoring position. First time that they've had the leadoff runner in scoring position, and time to add on more here against Parker Akins.
Casey Comiskey with a single and now a stolen base in the inning. The last time the Stallions had the leadoff runner on was back in the 3rd when John Freitag started things with a walk. He's now in the batter's box here as well in a 1-0 count against newly entered Parker Akins. The pitch is in there for strike 1.
Henry talked a lot about the All-Stars. We'll have a special segment in Sunday's pregame show detailing more about the 5 selections for Saugerties. Amsterdam with 7, so this really being where all the All-Stars are here tonight on a Wednesday night.
Nearly half of the entire Eastern Conference represented here today at Cantine. 12 of the 30 players between the two teams are All-Stars. The 1-1 from Akins. Big break and misses on the outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike on Freitag, who, like we said earlier, walked back in the third, led things off, and then Griffin Crane hit into a double play that erased it. Akins set at the belt. Left-hander for Amsterdam, kicks and throws. Low. 3 balls and 1 strike on Freitag.
Akins, the first arm out of the bullpen here tonight for Amsterdam. He's in a 3-1 count with a runner at second and nobody out. You really start to think here, if you're the Stallions, try and knock these Amsterdam pitchers off the bump as fast as possible, because this is in essence a 3-game set over the next 3 days. If you knock a guy out now and you hike up Akins' pitch count, he's not going to be able to pitch tomorrow.
And this is an Amsterdam staff that needed 6 pitchers to beat the Stallions a couple weeks ago up at Shuttleworth. Akins fires in strike number 2 in this at-bat to Freitag. Counts now full.
Another interesting thing is already Derek Duval is out there in the bullpen for the Mohawks playing around with some dirt. He's not throwing just yet, but it seems like they're ready to use their high-leverage guy tonight. Expect him to see him more than once over the next 2 days.
The only time Duval did not complete an appearance was against the Stallions, where he threw an inning and a third out of the bullpen, did not get the final out. Parker Akins actually on the mound. Freitag puts this one in play over to the right side. Comiskey will stop at third. Nice play from Young to keep Comiskey over there at third, but back-to-back plate appearances where John Freitag has been on base.
This looks exactly like the first inning if you're the Stallions. Back-to-back singles. The only thing that's different is they have both runners aboard and at the corners. Freitag's not the fastest guy in the world, but I would really love to see Crane throw down a bunt here and cause some chaos on the infield.
The third baseman, Jemison, is just a step behind the grass, so he, like you, Dan, is expecting Crane to lay down a bunt. He did square his last time up, but to put a bow on it, Akins got the final out in the 11-8 victory up at Shuttleworth against the Stallions a couple weeks ago. Crane fires low, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Stallions have 10 hits already here on the board tonight. Just 2 runs to show for it. They need some more here in the bottom of the 5th.
And this is a Stallions team coming into this one over their last 5, a team batting average of .290. The 1-0 from Crane. Flied away, 1 ball and 1 strike now. This marks 9 straight games for this Stallions offense where they've had at least 8 hits in a game. During the 8 previous games, 31 extra base hits, 12 games straight with at least 2 extra base hits during that time. Akins checks on Freitag over at first. Freitag not the fastest guy in this Stallions team. No stolen bases yet this season, but the Stallions have, as a whole, love to run.
Certainly do. You got to put some type of motion on here. Bunt or stolen base.
The 1-1 from Akins. Misses inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. To Griffin Crane, who's 1 for 2 here today. He singled right through the first base side back in the first inning, then was caught stealing 2 pitches later and hit into a 6-4-3 double play, starting with the shortstop Holcraft in the third. The 2-1. In there, 4 strike 2. 4 consecutive breaking balls actually from Akins here against Crane in the lefty-lefty matchup.
Avoiding the fastball. He's trying to get Crane to chase it on the outside part of the plate. Not budging so far, but expect him to throw it here.
The kick and the pitch. Misses low. Count goes full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nobody out. Bottom of the 5th inning. Casey Comiskey over at third. He singled and stole second and then reached third on John Freitag's single. The batter before, he's over at first base. I wonder if Freitag will be in motion here to keep the Stallions out of the double play.
Certainly could be. Wouldn't be the worst move in the book, but Crane's got to be disciplined here.
The payoff. Misses outside, ball 4. Base is now juiced for Cam Carroll, who will flip it around and hit from the right-handed side here today.
And in that at-bat, Aikens only threw off-speed pitches. Just tried to get the chase from Crane. And what a disciplined job that was in a 2-2 count. Lay off 2 very tempting breaking balls. And now you tee up Cameron Carroll at a bases-loaded, nobody-out scenario. That forces Keith Griffin out of the dugout for the Mohawks to talk it over.
Stallions lead 2-0. They already have 10 hits through their first 4+ innings on offense. They had 2 in the first, 3 in the second, 3 in the fourth, and now here 2 in the fifth, courtesy of Comiskey and Freitag. The Stallions have had at least 2 straight hits in 3 of their first 5 innings on offense. But, Dan, going back to this Amsterdam pitching staff, Jack Kirchner started. He went 4 innings and got knocked around. But the score is definitely still within reach for this Amsterdam offense. It's only 2-0.
And that's why if you're the Stallions, you have to blow the game wide open right here. And there's nobody you would rather have set to come up. You got the heart of your order ready to go here. 2, 3, 4, starting with Cam Carroll. I don't see a world in where the Stallions don't plate at least 2 in this scenario. And if you remember the last time that Aikens pitched against the Stallions, gave up 3 runs. So, really, here in the middle innings, he came in for a close situation up there in Amsterdam. But last time in the middle innings, gave up 3. Stallions really needing it here, and Amsterdam will be in the double play depth.
Base is full of ponies, with the next 3 hitters combining for 59 RBIs between Carroll, Z, and Ford due up next. First pitch from Aikens is in there for a strike. Corners in for Amsterdam. Jemison over at third and a touchstone at first are playing on the grass, so a ground ball to them. Looks like they're going to come home to Perez to try and nail Comiskey, who stands over at third. Middle infield is back playing for the double play. The 0-1 pitch. Lined right at the third baseman, Jemison, and he will step on the bag for the double play. Unfortunate turn of events for the Stallions there. Bases loaded and nobody out. Turns into runners on first and second with 2 outs.
I can't get more unfortunate there for the Stallions. And that was a hard hit ball by Cam Carroll. That's anywhere else on the infield, it probably gets through. Just hit straight to the glove of Jemison. He was early on that pitch. And the Mohawks get bailed out here. Still have to deal with Jamie Z, who's 0 for 2 tonight.
Z now steps in with Freitag over at second and Crane at first. Freitag singled. Crane walked. The double play sets up Z right here. First pitch to him. In there, 4-1. And this is the perfect man to hit in this scenario, Jamie Z. This season in 17 games played, he has 17 RBIs, averaging an RPI per game for the Stallions in the summer of 2025, a big reason why he was an all-star selection this summer. The 0-1 just misses on the outside corner now, 1 ball and 1 strike.
It's just a bad break for the Stallions. The pitching has been excellent. Greg Bruno slated to come on in the bottom of the 5th for Saugerties, another high-leverage guy. But again, it's not like this inning's over. Jamie Z knows how to hit in these scenarios. Still try and scratch across 1.
He's had 2 different 2-out RBI extra base hits against Amsterdam through the first 5 meetings between these 2 teams, and he swings and misses there. 4-2. Aikens goes with the changeup after 3 straight breaking balls.
I'll tell you one thing. He was trying to get another one of those 2-out extra base hits against the Mohawks right there, but missed it on the breaker.
Z this season has 10 extra base hits, 5 homers, 4 doubles, and a triple, hitting third here today in back-to-back games. Got the night off 2 days ago against Glens Falls. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Parker Aikens loads the bases full of ponies in the bottom half of the 5th, but gets out of it with a double play from Cameron Carroll and a Jamie Z strikeout swinging. We're going to the top of the 6th. Stallions still lead 2-0, and Greg Bruno comes in to pitch. Welcome back to Canty. Nick Zuppi alongside Dan Shalom. Top of the 6th inning. Stallions lead 2-0 and had a massive opportunity to increase their lead. Bases loaded, nobody out, but Parker Akins does the job and puts up a 0.
And it's not even like the Stallions had bad base running or a bad fly ball on the infield and something happened. It was simply just a matter of bad luck, a line out over to third base to Jemison. Stallions get doubled up. Not Casey Comiskey's fault, not Cameron Carroll's fault, just an unfortunate break. Need the pitching to bear down once again here in the 6th.
John Hacker still towing the slab for the Stallions. Here in the 6th inning, this is now the 4th inning. He's pitched out of the bullpen, giving the Stallions great length, and he's done a great job. Has only given up 1 hit across 3 innings, and more importantly, he's put up zeros to this point in the game. Alex Jungins now sits in a no-ball, 1-strike count, and he takes low. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Hacker did a really nice job in that 5th inning. Worked from behind to the middle of the order for the Mohawks and got a 1-2-3 inning. Stallions just don't want to give Amsterdam any type of momentum after leaving the bases loaded.
Jungins hits 7th in the lineup, 7-8-9 due up. The 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. 4-strike-2, back-to-back pitches now where Jungins has gone fishing in the dirt, sets up Hacker and a perfect opportunity to pick up strikeout number 1.
And earlier in this game, Hacker was trying to do the same thing to Chris Holcraft. He wouldn't bite at the off-speed going across him. Jungins certainly is. No reason not to throw that pitch again here in a 1-2 count.
The 1-2 pitch. Line 2 right field. Hoppensiefken coming in on it, but it will fall in front of him. Amsterdam has a leadoff single courtesy of Alex Jungins. Now 1 for 2 for the extra hitter. Sets up Sebastian Harden and an opportunity for Amsterdam to tie the game with 1 swing. Tying run in the batter's box.
That's just confusing to me right there out of either Cam Carroll or John Hacker. You just got showed in back-to-back pitches that Jungins is getting fooled by the off-speed, and then you throw him a fastball at the top of the zone. Just doesn't really make sense, but now have to really be diligent here against Harden.
First hit for Amsterdam since the 3rd inning when Sebastian Harden had a single as Hacker checks on Jungins over at first base. Harden now in the batter's box. Here in the 6th, 1 for 1 with that lone single in the 3rd. Hitting .340 coming into today. First pitch to Harden, swing and a miss, 4-strike-1, and actually a massive swing and a miss because the bat broke out of Harden's hand. You see him walking away with the end of the bat. The handle is in his right hand, and the barrel and everything else of the bat is over in front of the Stallions dugout.
Yeah, that bat is broken. It just caught the inside part, and as he threw it, it split. And that might just be a phantom break because our replay is showing that he didn't even make contact with that one.
Swing and a miss. Swing and a break. 4-strike-1.
That's the 2nd broken bat of the game for the Mohawks.
Hacker gets ahead nonetheless. 0-1. Something he's done in back-to-back hitters.
But back to business. Hacker's off-speed clearly working. Keep throwing it here in the 6th.
Hacker checks on Jungins over at first. Not in time. Hacker's now ahead of back-to-back hitters. 0-1 after falling behind the previous 5. Still hasn't burned him to this point. No runs across 3+ innings with Jungins over at first. Long hold from Hacker. The kick in the pitch. Harden squares the bunt. Pitch in the dirt. Did he go around? Field umpire Ronaldo Cochran says no, so it will be ruled a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I don't really know if I saw Harden pull that bunt back, to be honest with you. I thought it stayed in the zone for the majority of that pitch. Lassa Panera Sr. behind the plate went to Cochran for the second opinion. He's got the best look. They said he pulled back.
Interesting to see Harden squaring around a bunt. Comes into this one hitting .340, only not playing in 3 of the 28 games for Amsterdam. The 1-1 misses outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Dan, head coach Keith Griffin for Amsterdam didn't have the bunt on there for Harden.
Counting his lucky stars because that definitely should have been a strike against Harden. And now Hacker's behind.
Jungens over at first. He led things off with a single. Hacker will throw over to first to check on him. Is not in time once more. Already the third time where Hacker has tried to pick off Jungens here. Dan, no pitch clock in the PGCBL. Due to the lack of pitch clock, Hacker can throw over to first as many times as he would like. The 2-1. Swing and a miss for strike two. Hacker spins a breaking ball past Hardin. Man, that breaking ball's on.
Certainly is. No reason to throw the fastball again here. Go to the off speed. It's working in this count. Maybe give a check on Jungens first. He's got a little bit of a lead over there at first, but go to the off speed.
2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out, top of the 6th. The pitch is in the dirt for strike 3. That allows Jungens to reach second on the pass ball, but it will be out number 1 as Hardin goes down swinging. First strikeout for the Stallions pitchers here today comes in the 6th.
I'm totally fine trading that right there. If I'm the Stallions, runner in scoring position for Amsterdam in exchange for a strikeout. It's the first time in this game that they've had a runner over there, which is crazy to think about, especially coming from this potent of an offense.
They score the most runs out of any team in the PGCBL, 219 through their first 28 games, puts them in first in that category. Payne Jemison now in the batter's box. First pitch to him is in the dirt, 1 ball and no strikes. Great discipline from Jemison to not chase the one in the dirt after Hardin had all 3 strikes on him where he was went swinging in the dirt, chased all 3 pitches. From Hacker, Jemison here today, 0 for 1 with a fielder's choice. That was back in the 3rd. The 1-0 misses outside, 2 balls and no strikes now.
Stallions outfield has to be very wary of Jungens over there at second base. He's getting a massive secondary lead. A ball to the outfield will probably score him.
Stallions defense playing pretty much straight up all the way. Hoppensiefken, Crane, and Ford playing their normal depth out in the outfield. The 2-0 misses upstairs, 3 balls and no strikes. But Dan, a walk here would not be the worst thing. 3-0 count. Jemison is a pretty potent hitter himself. First base is open, which would set up the double play.
Certainly wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Would be better than giving up a single to the right side.
3-0 misses low, ball 4, and it gets off the glove of Carroll, allowing Jungens to reach 90 feet to third. Now runners on the corners with 1 out for Brad Curtis, the designated hitter for Amsterdam, stepping in.
However, that's not what you want. You're fine giving up the walk to keep the double play intact with first and second, but not with runners at the corners. And head coach Colin Martin out of the dugout. This is going to be a Dallas Hot Wieners call to the bullpen for Saugerties.
Coach Martin gestures toward the bullpen. John Hacker through 3 1/3 leaves runners on first and third here in the 6th inning when we come back from Canton. It's a Dallas Hot Wieners call to the bullpen. Greg Bruno comes in for the Stallions. This is appearance number 7. Last time he pitched, he went 3 innings, gave up 2 earned after allowing 4 earned in back-to-back outings against the Glens Falls Dragons. Bruno comes in here in relief of John Hacker. Runners on the corners for Amsterdam. Brad Curtis in the batter's box. First pitch to Bruno, from Bruno, is down low. 1 ball and no strikes. Curtis here today ended the 3rd inning with a ground ball over to 3rd. Comiskey made the throw across the diamond. Bruno now comes in with 2 runners on. The 1-0 from Bruno, fouled pretty hard to the netting behind home plate for strike 1.
You're looking for a get-right game here. If you're Greg Bruno, first 3 outings of the summer, no runs coming across. The last 3 outings, at least 2. So it's been 2 different types of Greg Bruno so far this summer. 11 innings pitched, 8.18 ERA coming into this one.
He had a 0 ERA through his first 5, but since then it's catapulted all the way up to 8.1. Checks on Jemison over at first, not in time. Peyton Jemison walked the previous batter. That brought John Hacker out of the game. He threw 3 1/3 innings, gave up 2 hits, 2 walks, 1 strikeout, but is responsible for the runners on base. Long hold from Bruno. The kick in the pitch with Jemison going from first. Carroll throws all the way down. Maroney makes the tag. It is in time to nail the runner Jemison, but that allows Jungins to score from 3rd as well. So the Stallions pick up an out, and Amsterdam picks up a run. But head coach Keith Griffin of Amsterdam wants to have a word with the umpires. Ronaldo Cochran, the field umpire today at Cantine, made the call. Joe Lazapanera steps out there as well, who's the home plate umpire.
That was another beautiful tag over there by Reese Maroney. This throw was high down from Cam Carroll, but he gets him on the leg. 3rd caught stealing of the game for Cam Carroll. And, Nick, I don't know about you. I'm more than comfortable trading a run for 2 outs here in this scenario against the Mohawks and nobody on the bases.
I couldn't agree more, especially with Curtis, who hits 10th in this Amsterdam lineup. The Mohawks using the extra hitter, that being Alex Jungins, who just came around to score. But great opportunity to end things here in the 6th inning with no runners on. 1-1 count against the 10-hitter Curtis. The 1-1 from Bruno, fired a strike in there after Jungins flies it out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs.
And that's kind of an even trade for both teams. The Mohawks have been struggling for runs all game long. They finally get there first, but the Stallions neutralize most of the threat, and Greg Bruno really gets a clean slate to work with now.
You can close the line on John Hacker. 3 1/3 innings, only gave up 1 earned and 2 hits. The 2-2 pitch. Lined hard out into the left center gap. Crane on the run. He makes the nice running play out in center field. The Louisville left-hander in center runs it down in the gap, robbing Curtis of extra bases as we go to the bottom half of the 6th from Canton.
I actually do now. All right, I'll meet him.
Welcome back to Canton. Nick Zuppi alongside Dan Challam. Justin Ford leads things off for the Stallions. And Dan, he was recently named to the All-Star team for the Eastern Conference in the PGCBL, one of 5 Stallions.
The other four being Luis Rodriguez, Travis Hobbins-Siefken, Jamie Z, and Jace Van Valkenburg. Stallions with the second most in the PGCBL, and all of them more than deserving. Even could have put a couple of more names on there for Saugerties, but really good stuff from these Stallions, and they deserve it more than anybody in this league.
Ford will lead things off, and Dan, all he's done this summer is hit. Really, him, Z, and Hobbins-Siefken, you can say the same thing about all three of those guys. Both have an OPS of above 850. Ford comes into this game hitting .402. His OPS stands at just above 1. 517 slug to go with a 500 on-base percentage. Parker Akins still toeing the slab for the Amsterdam Mohawks here in the 6th. The kick and the pitch misses outside, 1 ball and no strikes.
Time for insurance here if you're the Stallions. It's a 1-run ball game. Mohawks have 9 outs left at bat. And the Stallions have been the better offensive team all day long, but the scoreboard not showing it.
Ford takes low, 2 balls and no strikes to the cleanup hitter for the Stallions. In the top half of the inning, Stallions decided to trade an out for a run. Jemison was caught stealing, which allowed Jungins to come in to score and make it 2-1. Ford now takes outside 3-0.
And that was a great play because Brad Curtis had a hard hit ball into center field. That would have played it a run on the sac fly, and then the Mohawks would have had another runner at third base with 2 down. So the Stallions very grateful for Cam Carroll.
4-pitch walk to Ford here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Justin Ford now on base for the second time here today. He singled back in the 4th and came around to score on a Reese Maroney RBI double. And here is Reese Maroney stepping in. This is his 3rd time. He had that RBI double and came around to score on a Dylan Passo RBI single as well and hit a fly ball to right and back in the 2nd, 1 for 2.
Big spot for him here. Stallions would love to add some more back-to-back innings with the leadoff runner on. Need to scratch one on Akins, who got out of a bases-loaded, no-out jam last inning.
First pitch to Maroney. In there for a strike. After the 4-pitch walk to Ford, Akins fires in a strike. Had to work out of a bases-loaded jam, like you just said, Dan. Got some help from his defense, a double play, and a strikeout. Allowed Akins to put up his clean 0 in the 5th, but did he have to work for that one. Akins now checks on Ford over at first. Ford leads this team in stolen bases with 15. Luis Rodriguez did have 23 in the 18 games he played for the Stallions, but he's no longer an active member on the Stallions roster, so Ford takes over the top spot in that category. The 0-1 from Akins. Misses in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Parker Akins on the bump right now. Has really not been the cleanest for the Mohawks. Jesse Kuzmic is starting to stretch and toss out there in that Amsterdam bullpen.
Akins comes into this appearance with 19 strikeouts and 8 walks over 15 innings pitched. As an Amsterdam Mohawk, he'll check on Ford once more over at first. Jemison, the 3rd baseman for Amsterdam, is right even with the base just in case Maroney were to drop down a bunt. Here in the bottom of the 6th with nobody out, Stallions still lead 2-1. Long hold again from Akins. The pitch to Maroney. Misses low. 2-1. Now on the Rhode Island product.
Dangerous count here to Maroney. A lot of pop in that bat, and there is a big gap out there in left center field. Would love to see him lace one in that direction.
Maroney took advantage of the big gap over and right his last time up with an RBI double that scored Justin Ford back in the 4th. There goes Ford from first. The throw down from Perez is in time, but Ford beats the tag at second base. As John Young Jr., the second baseman, is a little shaken up on the play, but it's stolen base number 16 for Ford. And back-to-back innings now where the Stallions have had a runner in scoring position with nobody out.
And that one was close. Ford got in there just below the tag. Definitely could have been out, and now John Young Jr. in some serious discomfort out there on the field. Head coach Keith Griffin and the Amsterdam Mohawks trainer coming out to second base.
And the runner in scoring position as well prompts an arm in the Amsterdam bullpen to start throwing. Keith Griffin going to go have a chat with Young. The second baseman today hits second in the lineup, 0 for 2 in his 2 plate appearances. Hope everything is all right for Young. But Reese Maroney now, Dan, a golden opportunity to add an insurance run. Justin Ford stands over at second after the stolen base. Maroney picked up RBI number 8 earlier. Golden opportunity, like I said, to pick up number 9.
No doubt. Maroney just needs to get a ball in play. Force the Mohawks to make a mistake here. They have 3 double plays already on the day. The defense is bound to break at some point. Just put something into play.
Maroney in a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Young will stay in the game as head coach Keith Griffin and the trainer for the Amsterdam Mohawks both go back to the dugout with Young still at second. Justin Ford is also at second after he stole the base the pitch prior. The 2-2 from Akins. Misses low in the dirt. Count goes full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out in bottom 6.
And out there in the pen, Jesse Kuzmic has gone from stretching to now throwing. So Akins nearing the end here, things are to get ugly.
Kuzmic has made 7 appearances for the Mohawks, pitched to an ERA of just below 5 at 4.9. But Akins has bigger fish to fry with Maroney in the batter's box and a full count. The payoff, fouled out of play to the right side, so we'll do it again. 3 balls,
knew it
2
too.
strikes.
Fastball at the top of the zone, wants it back immediately. Akins might go with the off-speed here. Maroney's got to be disciplined on this one, and Akins still has to come inside to him as the lefty. So really, Maroney, wait for yours. If it's not there, take first base.
Dylan Passo is on deck. He's 2 for 2 here today, an RBI single back in the 4th. The payoff pitch, swing and a miss, 4 strike 3. Maroney goes down swinging here in the 6th, out number 1.
Foul tipped it into the glove as well, so he wasn't off by much right there, but he still goes down, put up a long-winded fight against Parker Akins, pushed the count to full. But now the Stallions, with Ford stealing second, still have an RBI opportunity here with Dylan Passo at the plate, who has an RBI single tonight.
Stallions now 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position against Parker Akins. But Passo has a chance to erase all that now. Dylan Passo 2 for 2, 2 singles and an RBI. Back in the 4th, lefty-lefty matchup against Akins. The first pitch from the southpaw. Inside, nearly hits Passo. 1 ball and no strikes.
And Passo, the thing he has to be wary of, and it makes sense why Akins starts inside, is now he's going to move outside with his off-speed and make Passo think that the ball is more on the inner half than it actually is.
The 1-0 from Akins. Breaking ball lands on the inside corner, 4 strike 1. And Perez wants to go have a chat with the southpaw out on the mound for Amsterdam. Looks like a little bit of a cross-up between those two.
Yeah, Perez was not expecting the off-speed pitch right there, and that's why he looked so surprised when it came in and called time to have that chat. I think he was thinking the fastball was coming, and Lasses Panera Sr. still calling that for a strike.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Bottom 6, Dylan Passo in the batter's box. Justin Ford stands over at second base. He led things off in the inning with a walk and stole second. Reese Maroney just went down swinging 2 pitches ago, brings up Dylan Passo. Akins checks on Ford over at second. Will give a throw to the shortstop Holcraft. No real attempt to get him out, though.
And I would expect this to be Akins' last batter if Passo is to reach out there in the bullpen right now. Kuzmic seems ready to go. He's throwing at full force.
Kuzmic throws from the right side with the right-handed hitting Haben Siefken due up next on deck. The 1-0, swing and a miss. 4 strike 2. Dylan Passo chases the breaking ball.
And that's exactly why Akins opened up on the inner half of the plate right there to make the off-speed seem like it's coming in and then jut out at the last second. He's got to be disciplined here in a 1-2 count.
Passo had a 2-strike single back in the second inning, that being against starting pitcher Jack Kirchner, who went the first 4 and allowed 2. The 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts, swinging from Akins, gets out number 2 here in the bottom of the 6th.
This now turns into a big at-bat if you're Travis Haben Siefken. It's lefty onto righty. They're going to keep Akins in this ball game, and if you're the Stallions, this is where you have to pounce. Akins pounded the zone that past at-bat with the off-speed. If he leaves one up here to Haben Siefken, it's going to be gone.
Completely fooled Paso on back-to-back pitches, 2 breaking balls, nowhere close to the zone, but the rising Notre Dame freshman went down swinging for out number 2 in the bottom of the 6th. Haben Siefken now steps in. First pitch to him in there. 4-1. Akins elects to go with the fastball here, change up the angle, going to the righty hitter as opposed to Paso, who hit from the left-handed side.
Makes sense. Got to switch the angle up. Don't want to start Haben Siefken off on the off-speed. He's a guy who's ready to swing on the first pitch.
Second on the team in RBIs with 26. The 0-1 pitch. High pop over to the right side. It will be the second baseman Young, camped underneath it right behind the infield dirt, and makes the play for out number 3. Here in the bottom of the 6th inning, Stallions had a runner in scoring position after the leadoff walk from Ford, but leave him there. Going to the top half of the 7th, still leading 2-1.
We've hit the 7th inning here. We've hit the 7th inning here in Saugerties. Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi. Stallions have been stifled offensively. They have 10 hits, but just 2 runs to show for it. And they're going to need Greg Bruno to be nails here in the 7th, with the top of the order coming for the Mohawks, starting with Luke Filippi.
Perfect guy to have leading things off here in the 7th. Over a 450 on base percentage, top 5 in the league in that category. This guy sets the tone for Amsterdam, and he has a chance to do so once more against Bruno.
First pitch from Bruno is a fastball that misses at the bottom of the zone, and as Bruno deals the first pitch, Derek Duval, the big closer for the Mohawks, takes a slow walk out to the dugout in right field. With this being a 1-run game, definitely makes sense why they're sending him out there to get ready. The 1-0 misses outside. Bruno came into this game last inning with runners at first and third with 1 out. And then Jemison would steal second. Cam Carroll nabbing him, but coming home to score on that play was Jungens for the lone run of the ball game for the Mohawks. 2-0 straight down the middle, first strike 1. And then to end that inning, Brad Curtis lined out into center field on what was a great play from Griffin Crane. Chased down a hard hit ball into center field. The 2-1 just misses on the outside part of the plate. 3 balls and 1 strike, and Bruno at risk of issuing the leadoff walk here in the 7th.
And the walk really hasn't hurt him that much this summer. He's pitched 11 innings coming into today and only 6 free passes.
Here's the pitch. Rocked into center field. Crane goes back. He's on the track. Makes the play a few steps short of the wall. Back-to-back outs for Greg Bruno that have been around 390 feet out to center field.
I think Bruno might owe Crane a steak dinner after the last 2 plays that he's made. Robbed these Amsterdam Mohawk hitters of extra bases with these 2 putouts that he's had in center field is Griffin Crane.
And ahead of a doubleheader tomorrow in Amsterdam, I'll tell you one thing, Nick. Both those 2 balls would have been home runs up there at Shuttleworth Park. Mohawks certainly missing home right now. Stallions will travel up there tomorrow in what is a pivotal 3-game set against the Mohawks in the chase for first place and trying to ward off the Boonville Lumberjacks at the same time. John Young Jr., the second baseman at the plate, takes a first pitch strike on the outside part.
And Dan, you mentioned the fact that the Stallions have to play a doubleheader at Amsterdam tomorrow night. The Stallions have actually taken 2 of the first 3 up at Shuttleworth Park against the Amsterdam Mohawks.
The 0-1. Big fastball. And gets a cut and a miss from John Young Jr. And you also think about it from a pitching perspective. Stallions only using 3 so far here in the 7th, and they would love to just use probably one more arm down the stretch to close things out ahead of 14 innings tomorrow at Shuttleworth. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 down here in the top of the 7th. Bruno deals. Just fouled off by Young Jr., nearly nailing us here in the Pack Hub broadcast booth, probably 5 feet to the left of the window.
Dan, you were talking about it earlier, how you and I have a catch sometime in the outfield here at Cantine. Did you bring your glove tonight? Because you almost needed it right there.
Certainly did not, and I don't want to feel what that baseball would be like off my bare hand. Certainly would be a bruise, maybe even a fracture. Got a guy who's throwing 95 against an SEC bat. That's a recipe for power. The 0-2. And Bruno went to the off-speed and nearly got John Young Jr. out in front, but he stays alive.
Bruno top 97 in his last appearance against the Utica Blue Sox, just recently committed to Seton Hall after being at Embry-Riddle this past spring. He's going to go to the Pirates with 3 years of eligibility left.
It's a great spot. A lot of Stallions players on this team, members of the Pirates as well, so Bruno already getting indoctrinated into the fold Seton Hall-wise. 0-2 pitch ends up nabbing Young Jr. on the foot. Bruno upset with himself, giving up the hit by pitch at an 0-2 count. Tying run is aboard here in the 7th for the Mohawks.
And John Young has plenty of speed as well. That's why Bruno was so frustrated knowing now he has to work 10 times harder with Holcraft step into the batter's box and a runner on.
Don't be surprised here if you see a bunt from Chris Holcraft. He leads the team in stolen bases with 15, and with how fast Bruno throws the fastball, you could certainly think about maybe even a pitch out here. You know that John Young Jr. is going to be active over there at first base. First pitch to Holcraft, catches the top of the zone. Strike 1.
And we were talking about a little bit about it a couple pitches ago. Bruno's fastball lights up the radar gun. So really any fastball on the outside part of the plate is almost as if it's a pitch out.
The 0-1. Spiked in the dirt, pops up in front of Carroll. It's a wild pitch, and the Mohawks have the tied run in scoring position. Cam Carroll upset with himself after that one. Kept it in front of him, but skied up in the air.
And Carroll's had a great day behind the dish as well. 3 caught stealings, 1 in the 1st, 4th, and 6th innings. Unfortunate bounce there for him. Ball bounced way up above his head.
It's a wild pitch against Greg Bruno. 1 ball, 1 strike, tying run at second base. Bruno tried to go with the fastball upstairs. He misses. 2-1, and this starts to feel like the inning that the Mohawks could blow this game open. They've been waiting for it. Back-to-back innings where they've had a runner in scoring position after not having one through the first 5 innings. The 2-1. Bruno nearly beating Holcraft. He gets a piece at the last second. 2 balls and 2 strikes. This a big pitch here with 1 out on the board.
Dan, you alluded to it a little bit earlier. The Amsterdam Mohawks have had at least 4 runs in an inning in each one of the first 5 matchups between these two teams. They're looking to do so here today once more.
Stallions have been dodging the bullet for a majority of this game. and trying to stay out of the way once again here in the 7th. Bruno nearly gets a strikeout. Holcraft once again catches up at the last second, and the count stays at 2-2.
And Holcraft is a guy who doesn't strike out very much, only 13 through his first 26 games as a Mohawk.
Bruno's gone fastball the last 2 pitches. Holcraft has fouled it off to the right side. John Young Jr. at second. The 2-2 pitch. It's just cut on at the top of the zone, and it'll go right to Jamie Z on the infield. A big out number 2 for Greg Bruno.
Huge out for Bruno. Now 2 outs in the inning. He has a chance to get out of it with no runs allowed, but no easy task when Will Cowan is stepping to the batter's box.
And it seemed like Holcraft got so used to having to match the fastball that time he got the barrel there in time, but just got under it. Popped it up to the shortstop Z. Will Cowan, the right fielder, will step in now. Trying to bring the tying run home here with 2 outs in the 7th. Bruno starts with the off-speed and locates it for strike 1.
Interesting approach by Bruno here, starting Cowan with a breaking ball. Everyone knows about his power fastball. That's a pitch he loves to go to with 2 strikes. Gets ahead of Cowan with the breaker.
Cowan 6 RBIs so far this season. A weak cut and a miss right there, and Bruno now just a strike away from getting out of the jam. John Young Jr. got to second on a hit by pitch with 1 down. Bruno trying to send his team back to the dugout for the 7th inning stretch. Here's the 0-2. Young Jr. goes over to third, no throw down, and now the tying run just 90 feet away.
8th stolen base of the season for Young, and that's very important as well. Now Young stands over at third base. A pass ball from Bruno allows Young to come in to score and tie it.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Mohawks inching closer to tying up this game. Bruno deals. He misses at the bottom of the zone, and the count's 2-2. For Munich, it has to be fastball here. He threw it already in this at-bat, and Cowan checked his swing on it.
And even Holcraft, the batter before, was way late on it. Cowan seemed confused by it as well. I mean, it's hard. It's 98 miles an hour.
The 2-2. Bruno nearly skies one over the backstop. A great play there by Cam Carroll to not let Young Jr. come home.
Cameron Carroll stands 5'7" and needed every inch of it right there to keep that one in his glove.
If that one went past, it would certainly have hit the screen and allowed the Mohawks to tie up the game. It's a full count with 2 outs. John Young Jr. at third base. The payoff. Grounded back to Bruno. He's going to take it to the bag. Flip to first, and he gets out of the jam. Greg Bruno comes in, gets put in a high leverage situation here in the 7th, and puts up a 0. Time to stretch with the Stallions leading by 1 here at Cantine Field. Bottom 7 here in Saugerties. Stallions still leading 2-1. Plated their 2 runs in the 4th. Mohawks getting 1 in the 6th, but no scoring outside of that. George Baker to start things here against Parker Akins in the bottom of the 7th. First pitch in there on the outside part of the zone for strike 1. This is Akins' 3rd inning of work. Was close to getting pulled in the bottom of the 6th when the Stallions had Justin Ford, who was their leadoff man in that inning, reach second base. He was stranded there. Baker in a no-ball, 2-strike count.
Perfect opportunity as well for Akins, the lefty pitcher, to face the lefty hitter with Baker here to start the 7th.
Tried to get him with the off-speed. And you're really looking for a spark here from the bottom of the order. Stallions with 8, 9, 10 here in the bottom of the 7th. This is a team that had 10 hits through the first 5 innings. Nothing in the 6th. Baker pops one up into foul territory. Touchstone moving over. He makes the play. 1 down. Baker upset with himself after that one. That's back-to-back pop-ups in foul territory for him. Casey Comiskey next for Saugerties. Singled in his last at-bat. That led off things in the 5th. Made it over to 3rd. Stallions loaded the bases against Akins before he got out of the jam. Doesn't swing there, 1-0.
And Comiskey had a 3-hit game the last time these 2 teams played here at Cantine. He had a 2 RBI triple as well. Perfect guy at the batter's box to start something.
Finds himself in a 2-0 count. If you want to talk about a guy who has a lot of grit, battled through early adversity, that is Casey Comiskey. Was in a 2-for-25 stretch, and now the batting average above 260. Flies a ball into right field, but right at Cowan. And there's 2 down here in the 7th.
Cowan was playing a little bit in on Comiskey, a guy who doesn't really have great extra base pop. Benefited from it right there.
That wasn't a fly out. That was a hard hit ball by Casey Comiskey that very well could have been a single. But the Mohawks playing some sound defense, using the strategy to their advantage, keeping their outfielders shallow. John Freitag, the designated hitter at the plate now. He's reached in both his at-bats tonight. Last one being a single. He'll take a first pitch ball. And the Mohawks would really love for Akins to get through 3 innings here without giving up a run.
In relief of Jack Kirchner as well, who allowed 2 across 4 innings. But for either one of these guys, it could have been way worse of a line than what they actually have going.
Especially with 10 hits on the board. Usually when you see that number in the hit category, you see a number above 5 in the run category. That not the case here tonight for Saugerties so far. The 1-1. Freitag takes outside. Something that John Freitag has done very well tonight has been a disciplined hitter at the plate.
He's been on base both times as well, a walk in the 3rd and a single in the 5th. He's not going to chase out of the zone. That's just who he is and how he hits.
Freitag's worked himself into a 3-1 count with the speedy Griffin Crane waiting on deck. That would be the top of the order. Freitag walked already today, that being in the 3rd. Akins set at the belt, now deals. Misses on the outside part of the plate with the off speed. 2-out walk for John Freitag. Flips the lineup card around. Griffin Crane at the plate.
And 4 straight appearances for him that he's been on base as well. He had an RBI single in the last game he played against the Outlaws. On base 3 more times here tonight. 2 walks and a single.
And the Stallions would love to get another runner on here for Cameron Carroll. And it makes sense why the Mohawks are leaving Akins in here. They want the lefty-lefty matchup on Griffin Crane. First pitch in there for strike one. Freitag is at first base. The Stallions have had a runner on in every single inning of this ball game, but just 2 runs to show for it.
The last 2 innings as well, Dan, they've left a runner in scoring position. They had the leadoff runner standing at second base, but no runs came around to score as a result.
Check on Freitag. Stallions had a 2-out rally in the bottom of the second. 3 straight singles to load the bases. Nothing coming of it. Had the bases loaded twice in this game with no runs to show for it in either situation. One with 2 outs, one with none. 0-1. Crane takes it on the outside part of the plate. That's what Aiken has been doing to both Freitag and now here to Crane. He doesn't want to give any fastballs to hit. Just been pounding the off speed on the outside part.
And going back to another lefty as well, Dylan Passo, last inning in the 6th, that's all he was doing. Pounding the breaking ball on the outside corner, and it's worked well against Passo. He went swinging twice.
Another check on Freitag. They nearly had him cheating over. Freitag goes to second. Stallions were trying to get the hit and run on with Crane swinging, but the ball's foul.
Freitag only has 1 stolen base coming into today in 5 games played. As a Stallion, tried to go there, but now it's a 2-strike count on Crane, who has to protect.
He's done a great job of doing that so far here in his short stint as a Stallion. Looking to come up clutch here in the bottom of the 7th. 1-2. Just pops it up over on the left side. It goes foul. And that being the same pitch that Akins has relied on, once again, off speed to the outer half.
Saw both pitchers really in this inning go to what's been working for him. Akins spinning the breaking ball in the outside corner, and Bruno went with the fastball to put up a 0 in the 7th.
Akins deals. Pitch misses at the top of the zone. That's the first time in around 10 pitches now where Akins has come inside.
That one still with the breaking ball, backdoor breaker from Akins. But like you said, first time in the last 10 where he's went in.
The 2-2. Freitag goes to second. No hit on this one. And the throw is bobbled over at second base. They had Freitag by a mile on that play, but Holcraft can't come up with it. Talk about a lucky break for the Stallions.
Perez had a caught stealing earlier in the game. He got the fastest guy on the team, Griffin Crane, back in the 1st. He made another good throw here in the 7th with Freitag running just under Holcraft's glove at short.
This becomes a lot more interesting now in a full count with 2 outs. Might even think about put Freitag in motion again. The payoff. Crane puts it into left field. Hold sign there from Ron Kelder at third base. But talk about clutch hitting with 2 down from Griffin Crane. Runners at the corners for Cam Carroll.
Back-to-back multi-hit game now for Crane. And that's exactly what he does. He doesn't hit the ball the hardest, just finds ways on base. He had to work in that 1-2 count as head coach for Amsterdam, Keith Griffin. Looks like he's going to make a call to the bullpen right here.
He wants to know how many mound visits he has left in his pocket first before going out there. Has not made a signal yet to the Dallas Hot Wheaters bullpen. Is walking all the way out there to the mound. It made sense why they kept Akins in the last 2 batters for the lefty-on-lefty matchup. And they have in the bullpen ready to go for them Jesse Kuzmic, but I don't think they're going to turn to him here. I think Griffin just wants to talk things over, and we saw this the last time the Mohawks played here at Cantine Field as well.
Especially with Carroll stepping into the batter's box. 1 for 3 here today, but one of his outs was loud, a liner to the third baseman, Jemison, when the bases were loaded. Not the worst idea to talk with the team, have everyone get on the same page before Carroll steps in.
And maybe just give some extra time out there for Kuzmic to warm up. Joe Lassa-Panera Sr. is stepping up to the mound now. He's going to break this thing up. It has been a long talk out there on the mound. And Akins is going to stay in this ballgame. Interesting play here for the Mohawks. They're going to let him ride against Cam Carroll, who was robbed of a hit last time up. A liner over to third to Jemison, which put 2 outs on the board in a bases loaded, nobody out scenario. Talk about a pressure-packed at-bat here in the bottom of the 7th. Cam Carroll at the plate. Runners are at the corners with 2 down. First pitch, down low for ball 1. Keith Griffin has been around this game more than anybody in the PGCBL. He knows what he's doing, and maybe this also a play, thinking about the doubleheader tomorrow, to save an arm right now.
Also an opportunity to allow everyone in the infield to get on the same page, whether Perez is going to throw through with 2 outs in the inning.
Fastball catches the top part of the zone for strike 1, and that's a big thing. Given how speedy Crane is over there, you know that he will probably make a dive over there at second base at some point, which would allow John Freitag to score. The 1-1 hits Carroll, and the bases are loaded for the power-hitting Jamie Z.
Looked like Carroll didn't even really try to get out of the way there, just ate it.
Head coach Keith Griffin is out of the dugout, and now is going to be time for the Dallas Hot Weeders called to the bullpen. Amsterdam they're ready on the mound ahead of what is the biggest at-bat here tonight against the new All-Star, Jamie Z. Bases loaded for the 3rd time in this game for the Stallions when we come back. Bottom of the 7th, Dallas Hot Wieners call to the bullpen for the Mohawks. It's Jesse Kuzmic on with the bases loaded and 2 down.
This is Kuzmic's 8th appearance as an Amsterdam Mohawk through his first 11 innings out on the mound. A 4.91 ERA, giving up 8 earned during that time.
This is a pressure-packed at-bat. Jamie Z, newly named as an All-Star. He's 0 for 3 tonight and has grounded into a 6-for-3 double play. Looking to erase all of that here in one swing. The Stallions only up by 1. First pitch is a breaker in there. First strike 1.
2 of those outs as well were strikeouts, 1 looking and 1 swinging in the 4th and 5th respectively.
The 0-1. Big cut and a miss out of Jamie. He was looking for it all right there. We'll call for time to reorganize his thoughts for Jesse Kuzmic. 2 straight strikes out of the bullpen.
He's going right after him. Nowhere to put him. Bases full of ponies.
2 off-speed pitches to start. Could be the fastball right here, which is Kuzmic's bread and butter. Bases loaded with 2 down. The 0-2. Off-speed hit into left field. Harden is under it. And for the 3rd time in this game, the Mohawks get out of the bases loaded jam. The bullpen has held strong, bent but not broken. Stallions still leading by 1, going to the 8th. Dallas Hot Wieners called to the bullpen for the Stallions. Greg Bruno goes 1 2/3. No runs, no hits. And on in relief of him is Mason Weaver.
He's the 4th pitcher for the Stallions here tonight, and this being appearance number 5. Dan, through 6 1/3 innings out on the mound for the Stallions, 0 earned runs.
Makes sense why they bring in a high-leverage guy like Weaver. No breathing room for Saugerties, leading by just 1. It'll be 5-6-7 for the Mohawks here in the top half of the 8th, starting with Bray Touchstone, the first baseman. Big sweeper from Weaver for strike 1.
Weaver is a guy who loves to get swing and miss as well. 10 strikeouts in 6 1/3 innings pitched.
Weaver gets the sign. comes set at the belt. Forces weak contact on the right side. Passo moves into foul territory. Makes the play. One down here in the 8th.
Really important for Weaver to get the leadoff hitter. And Touchstone really had no chance in that at-bat. Was way confused after the breaking ball and then pop up to first.
Danny Perez will be next for the Mohawks. So far in this game for him, 0 for 2. First pitch fouled off to the right side. This has been an interesting game, a pitcher's duel that really could not have been a pitcher's duel. Stallions with 11 hits to just 3 for the Mohawks. Gives us a 2-1 score line. Weaver goes with the fastball. Perez fouling it off. Stallions have had the bases loaded 3 times in this game with no runs to show for it. Given 2 of those times were with 2 outs, but 1-0 on the board. No balls, 2 strikes to the Mohawks backstop. Weaver tried to go with the fastball upstairs, get the chase, but it's 1-2.
And the Stallions have now left a runner in scoring position in each of the last 4 innings on offense, dating back to the 4th.
The 1-2. Off speed, not there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Amsterdam is undefeated here at Cantine Field so far this season. They started 0-2 here last year. And Perez has worked himself into a full count from 0-2 down to 3-2.
And Weaver's been so good at limiting the base on balls as well. Only 4 walks in 6 and now 2/3 innings pitched this summer.
The payoff. Flown out into center field. Crane moving over. It'll end up being Ford. He makes the play. And 2 outs here for Weaver in the 8th.
Big pitch. Doesn't try to do too much. Just throws a strike, more importantly, from Weaver. And jammed Perez just enough to force weak contact to left field.
Alex Juggins, the extra hitter, comes to the plate now. He has one of 3 Mohawks hits today. And came around to score as the lone run of this ball game so far. One 0 count. Here's the pitch. Just misses low in the zone. Lassa Panera Sr. has been calling that spot all day. Doesn't give it there. 2 balls and no strikes.
Something that John Hacker, who came in as pitcher number 2 for the Stallions here today, loved that lower strike being called, but Weaver doesn't get it.
That one is in the zone for strike 1.
Dan, last time Alex Juggins hit against the Stallions here at Cantine in the 8th inning or later, 3-run home run.
Certainly not hoping for that here. Weaver's worked himself back into a 2-2 count after being down 0-2. Looking for a 1-2-3 8th and to get the Stallions back in there to search for some insurance.
And they have the middle of the order due up, 4, 5, 6, Justin Ford, Reese Maroney, and Dylan Passo, who all have been on base today.
The 2-2. Popped up on the right side. Maroney is under it. Makes the play. 1-2-3 out of the bullpen for Mason Weaver. Nails, and he gives the Stallions a chance for some Nacarado insurance runs in the bottom of the 8th. Bottom half of the 8th, Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi here in the Pack Up broadcast booth. Stallions looking for some insurance, and that's why we turn to our sideline reporter, Henry Hipschman. Henry, the Stallions have had runners aboard aplenty in this game, one in every inning, but just haven't been able to find that hit to really blow the game open.
I talked to third base coach Ron Keller about tonight's inning. He says they're not doing bad at the plate. They're facing really good pitching. They've been getting hits. They have 11 on the night, but they just haven't found the timely hits yet, looking for those big hits that lead to big scores.
Did he give any insight on just what might go into getting that pivotal one?
He just says it's about taking your time, waiting on your pitch, and waiting for the Mohawks to slip up with their pitches.
Thanks so much, Henry. Stallions certainly hoping for that here in the bottom of the 8th as they only lead the game by 1 run. Justin Ford, Reese Maroney, and Dylan Passo coming to the plate.
All three of these guys have notched at least one hit here today. Ford a single. All three of these guys had hits in the 4th inning. Ford and Maroney came around to score the lone 2 Stallion runs in that inning as well.
Jesse Kuzmic still out there for the Mohawks. Ford with a big cut and a miss. Strike 1. Just the guy that the Stallions want up here in the 8th as they try and get a pivotal run, which would make it a 2-run ball game. Ford an all-star selection, batting above 400 right now. Takes down low for ball 1.
Ford might be in the running for the MVP of the PGCBL to this point in the season. Top 3 in doubles, top in RBIs, top 10 in batting average. The list goes on.
Big cut and a miss right there out of the Seton Hall product. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Mohawks do have their closer, Derek Duval, warming out there in the bullpen if they are to tie up the game in the 9th inning. Seeming like Mason Weaver will be back out there for Saugerties in the 9th frame. Ford pops it off to the right side, foul. Stallions have had a base runner in every single inning of this game, 11 hits in total, just 2 runs to show for it. Been one of those games where they've been doing the right things. The ball just simply hasn't bounced their way just yet. Here's the 1-2. Off speed. Rings Ford up on the inside part of the plate, and there's 1 down here in the 8th.
Beautiful off-speed pitch, completely froze Ford on that one.
Knees buckled on that. 1 down in the bottom of the 8th, Reese Maroney. Next here for Saugerties. Has one of 2 RBIs in this game. A double in the 4th. Plated the first run of this game for Saugerties. Takes the fastball for strike 1.
Maroney actually has the only extra base hit of the night as well. The Stallions, as a team, come into today with 12 straight games where they've notched at least 2 extra base hits in a game. That streak is at risk.
1 ball, 1 strike count. 1 down here in the bottom of the 8th. Both of these teams on 5-game win streaks coming into this one. One of those has to be broken here over the next inning and a half. There'll be a doubleheader tomorrow in Amsterdam. That'll be a 4:15 start for Game 1 and a scheduled 6:45 for Game 2. Both those will be 7 innings up there at Shuttleworth Park, where the Stallions have had success this season, 2-1 overall. Dropping the last one, 11-8.
But as a whole up at Shuttleworth, the Stallions are actually +4 in the run column.
Kuzmic pulls that ball down into the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike here to a dangerous hitter in Reese Maroney. Stallions with just 1 hit over the last 2 innings. The offense going somewhat cold from a bat perspective, but still loaded the bases in that 7th with 2 down. Nothing to show for it. And Kuzmic having some trouble finding the zone right now. 3-1 to Reese Maroney.
And Maroney's a patient hitter as well. He's going to take his walks. He has 18 this season. He leads the team in that category. And he's been on base in every game as well, this being number 16.
And Kuzmic can't find the zone. Maroney works the 5-pitch walk. Dylan Passo at the plate now, who had a hard hit ball for an RBI single in the 4th.
He had another single as well. Passo 2 for 3, came into this one hitting .385 in 3 games versus the Amsterdam Mohawks. That average has only gone up here today.
Might think about putting Maroney in motion here in the 8th as well to get that runner into scoring position. Maroney faked the steal. Passo also faked the bunt. Forces a pitch out from the Mohawks, and it's ball 1.
Jemison, the third baseman, playing in on the grass. He's actually expecting Passo to lay down the bunt here with only 1 out in the 8th.
One out. Passo swinging away, hits it off his ankle. And some discomfort after that. Pacing around by the backstop. Seems to be okay. That was a healthy hack right there from Passo.
He was looking for his first home run as a Stallion, and those 2 insurance runs would be pretty pivotal going into the 9th against this Amsterdam team that can put up runs quick.
He's got to go to work now on that right foot, which still seems to be in a little bit of a pain. Maroney at first with 1 down. Fakes the steal once again. Passo still feeling out that right leg in a 2-1 count. Kuzmic deals, misses outside, and you definitely don't want runners at first and second with Travis Hobbins-Siefken coming next.
He drove in 5 the last time these 2 teams played. 2 home runs up at Shuttleworth Park. He's also second in the team in RBIs as well with 26.
Maroney goes to second. He got a great jump on that pitch. Slightly unfortunate that Passo fouled it off, and the count goes full.
And Passo still grimacing a little bit. Now steps out of the batter's box after the foul ball. A couple pitches ago, he lined one off his ankle. Hopefully he's okay.
A big pitch right here. A full count with Maroney at first in a 1-run ball game with 1 down here in the bottom of the 8th. Kuzmic deals. He misses high and away. Passo works the walk. Back-to-back base on balls issued from Jesse Kuzmic. And there's runners at first and second for Travis Hobbins-Siefken.
Head coach for Amsterdam, Keith Griffin, not getting out of his chair. They did have Derek Duval warming up earlier on in the inning. But I wonder, Dan, with the doubleheader looming tomorrow, if it's worth using him here down 2-1 in the 8th.
Would certainly be an aggressive play, and the Mohawks have 8, 9, 10 due up in the 9th. Hobbins-Siefken with a chance to blow this game open here. Runners at first and second. First pitch from Kuzmic is the off-speed in the dirt, ball 1.
Good take from Hobbins-Siefken. He's going to make Kuzmic come to him. No reason to chase out of the zone with runners in scoring position.
Keith Griffin has his paper above his eyes. He doesn't want to look right now at what's going on with first and second, and Hobbins-Siefken at the plate. Fastball misses away, 2-0. George Baker, a powerful lefty waiting on deck, and that is not a favorable matchup for Kuzmic if Hobbins-Siefken is to reach.
And Baker does have a hit earlier on in the second inning as well. A guy who had 3 RBIs in the last time he played 2 days ago against Glens Falls.
The 2-0. Misses away once again. 3 balls and no strikes to Haben Siefken. Do you dare thinking about swinging here in the 3-0 count?
It's got to be the pitch that you can hit for a home run. Anything other than that, red light all the way.
Going to be an interesting pitch here against Haben Siefken. No swing on the 3-0. It's a 4-pitch walk to Haben Siefken. 3 straight walks issued by Kuzmic, and the bases are loaded for George Baker.
Baker still looking so far for his signature Saugerties moment. This might be it right here. Bases loaded against the Amsterdam Mohawks.
Stallions have had the bases loaded 3 times in this game, this being the 4th. You got to cash in at some point. Baker, back-to-back at-bats where he's popped out into foul territory. Close, but not close enough. That's been the story for Saugerties, with ducks on the pond as well. A chance to blow this game wide open here for the Louisville product. Steps into the box. Kuzmic has been a little bit out of control. 3 straight walks after a strikeout, looking to Justin Ford to start the inning. Baker chops the first pitch he sees foul for strike 1.
And going back to Kuzmic, Dan, this is a guy who really doesn't walk many hitters. Through 11 innings before the appearance here today, only 5 walks, and he's got 3 to go along with a hit by pitch in this game alone.
You know, Baker's looking to crush a ball. Timing just a little bit early on that last one. 0-1. Off speed finds the inside part of the plate, and now George Baker is in an 0-2 count.
He's got to do everything he can to protect. Make Kuzmic continue to throw strikes. If he has to foul it off and keep himself in the count, fine.
Kuzmic deals. Baker makes contact into left center field. There to make the play is Harden. Tagging from third is Maroney. Here's the throw. Not in time. A big at-bat from George Baker. Plates a pivotal insurance run here for the Stallions, and it's 3-1.
Beautiful job by George Baker. Not trying to do too much, and a 2-strike count gets enough on it with the fly out to left. Scoring Reese Maroney.
Making Kuzmic pay for all of those walks. And what a job there by George Baker. Down 0-2 to then work back. And then finally puts one into the outfield. Ball 1 to Casey Comiskey. The Mohawks still have to get out of this inning. Runners at first and second with 2 down. Then what has now become a 2-run ball game. One-0. Catches the outside part of the plate for strike 1, and that was a competitive throw out there from Sebastian Harden as well.
Right on line to the catcher Perez, just a little bit late. Jemison let it go all the way through, and it was a perfect throw. Just needed a little more on it.
Comiskey early on the breaking ball there, fouls it off. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Still a golden opportunity for the Stallions offense to plate another insurance run. Passo's over at second, and he's got decent speed.
One, 2. Hits Comiskey. Bases loaded for the second time in this inning. John Freitag coming to the plate, who's reached in every at-bat here tonight.
A walk in the 3rd and 7th to go along with a single in the 5th.
You wouldn't think that you'd want your 10-hole hitter up in this scenario, but John Freitag has played to the point where you want him at the plate in this situation here tonight.
Only has 1 RBI as well, this only being his 6th game played as a Stallion. Great opportunity to pick up 2, 3, and maybe 4.
Walk in his last at-bat against Kuzmic. takes first pitch strike on the outside part of the plate.
And Freitag got to face Kuzmic already, that being last inning in the 7th.
Perez also has to watch out behind the plate. Pass ball. Paso will come home to score. The 0-1. Freitag pops it up behind the plate. Perez moves over. He makes the play. So the Stallions leave the bases loaded for a third time in this game, but they do get a crucial insurance run. Mason Weaver has got a one-run cushion to work with as he looks for the 6-out save in the 9th. It's the top of the 9th here in Saugerties, and the Mohawks have their backs up against the wall. 3 outs left to go, and Mason Weaver is out there looking for the 6-out save.
Pitched a 1-2-3/8 and got all flyouts. One to the first baseman Paso, one to the left fielder Ford, and one to the second baseman Maroney. Coming into this inning, Dan, a 0 ERA for Mr. Weaver.
Stallions hoping that stays the case. 8, 9, 10 for the Mohawks here in the top of the 9th as they look to plate 2 runs or possibly even 3 to tie and take the lead. Weaver worked effectively in the top of the 8th, a 1-2-3 for him. Starts things off with a foul ball to the right side off the bat of Hardin. The 0-1. Quickly 0-2 for Weaver off 2 fastballs.
And Hardin was late on both of those as well. That one might have been borderline ball or strike, but Hardin swung at it either way.
Amsterdam has a pinch hitter looming, Joey Trombley, who is not on the batting order for this team. He's a pitcher. The 0-2 misses high and away for ball 1. After getting up 0-2, Weaver's fallen into a 2-2 count.
And he's nodding his head after that pitch. He knows he missed it. Ball might have slipped out of his hand a little bit. Changeup was way high.
Hardin barely gets a piece of that one. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Still against Sebastian Hardin, the left fielder, who here tonight 1 for 2, struck out in his last at-bat, that being in the 6th. Weaver deals. He misses upstairs. This was similar, Nick, to that at-bat to Danny Perez, where he went up 0-2. Perez worked it back to 3-2, eventually flying out to left.
And Weaver did everything he can to throw a strike. Threw a fastball right down the middle, and Perez did nothing with it.
Payoff. Strike 3, got him. A big K for Mason Weaver. 1 down in the 9th.
Huge K for Weaver to get things started Here in the ninth, get the leadoff hitter, Harden, who has plenty of speed, one of the top stolen base guys on the Amsterdam Mohawks. So to get him out to start things would be huge.
An interesting play here, Joey Trombley coming to the plate, who's not listed as a batter for this team. He's a pitcher with a 2 ERA for the Mohawks. Keith Griffin trying something here in the top of the ninth. Takes a first pitch strike.
Interesting approach to send the pitcher here to hit for Peyton Jemison, the third baseman, who was 0 for 1 with a walk in this one.
Can't really piece this one together. He's quickly down 0-2 in 2 uncompetitive swings.
Looks like he was way late right there. Weaver overpowered him with the fastball and back-to-back pitches. Especially since this guy doesn't hit very much. I wouldn't try to confuse him. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Throw the gas.
0-2. Fouled off to the left side. We'll do it again at 0-2. Big pitch here to Trombley. Off-speed misses upstairs. This is kind of the routine that Weaver's gotten into here. Goes up 0-2, but then throws a couple of waste pitches, looking for the swing and miss. That one just misses on the inside corner. Joe Lassi-Panera Sr. not giving it. Back-to-back at-bats where we've had a 2-2 count.
And Weaver went change-up last time. Sebastian Harden was just in the batter's box.
Strike 3, blows the gas by him. Back-to-back Ks here in the ninth for Mason Weaver.
Goes to the fastball there after going to the changeup to Harden. Strikeout number 12 this year, and now 8 full innings as a pitcher for the Stallions.
Mohawks are down to their final out of this ball game. Stallions are on the cusp of earning their first win here at home against Amsterdam this season. It'll be Brad Curtis, the DH. Takes a first pitch strike. Weaver getting ahead for a third straight batter. This a pivotal game. Stallions have 2 up at Shuttleworth Park tomorrow, and with a potential sweep, could cut the lead in the East all the way down to 1. 0-1 pitch. Popped up on the infield. Z is under it. He makes the catch, and the Stallions get a gritty win here at home over the Amsterdam Mohawks for the first time this season. 3-1, the final.
Mason Weaver, how about it, coming in the 8th and 9th against the best offense in the PGCBL, and puts up 2 perfect innings to seal the victory for the Stallions.
Stallions hold Amsterdam to just 1 run in this game on 3 hits. This stellar Mohawks offense goes completely quiet.
And this was a team over their last 5 games, where they've won 5 in a row, that have been averaging nearly 8 runs a game. And Dan, the team batting average during that time, .324.
This is a big win for the Stallions here tonight. And Nick, this really could have been a blowout. Stallions had 4 bases loaded opportunities, just 1 run coming from it.
Finding the big hit definitely needs to be talked about for the Stallions, but other than that, a lot of positive takeaways for this team here today.
One of the positives in this game for the Stallions was Mason Weaver. He came into this one for the 6-out save and did an amazing job at that. 2 perfect innings. Our Henry Hipschman is down on the field with him.
I'm here with tonight's player of the game, Mason Weaver. Mason, 3 batters faced, 2 strikeouts. You came in secured tonight's victory. How do you feel?
I'm feeling good.
You know, Mason, you came in this situation, 2-run lead against the best team in the league. What was your mindset coming to the mound?
Just trusting the guys behind me. You know, we got a great defense, and knowing I can trust my stuff and pound the zone. I got a good catcher behind the plate as well.
And you guys secured your 6th straight win tonight. You play Amsterdam tomorrow in a doubleheader. How's the team feeling right now?
Feeling good. We're hitting the ball really well right now. Pitching's going. It's going to be exciting. Hopefully we get 2 more tomorrow.
Great. Thanks, Mason.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Back to you guys in the booth.
Henry, thank you so much. Always great to hear from our player of the game, Mason Weaver. Nick, this is a big game as the Stallions will go to Shuttleworth tomorrow for a 2-game set.
Winners of now 6 in a row. Stallions have only allowed 3 runs a game over their last 6 wins. The pitching staff has found something.
Certainly have it. They're going to look to keep it rolling tomorrow. Only 1 run allowed, 3 hits here tonight against the Mohawks. That's going to do it for our broadcast here tonight. Some thank yous to hand out to our sideline reporter, Henry Hipschman, our producer, Bella Holler, and my partner, Nick Zuppi. Dan Schaub, Stallions win 3-1, and we'll see you tomorrow up at Shuttleworth Park.